mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to My Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Oh boy, what a day I've had today. I don't even know what the hell to title this show. To be honest with you, it's just been fucking just weird all around. It's like the third month, the third day. I experienced the third hour to 33 minute and 33 seconds. We all did today, but I just felt weird all day today. I had my doctor's appointment earlier this morning, so this is going to be about me right now. Spoke to my primary doctor and I'm fucked. Literally, I'm kind of fucked. My left knee is not good. It's not good right now. I have no cartilage in my knee. I'm like, what? I went like that. I was like, what? Excuse me? It's like, yeah, your cartilage is all pretty much ripped up and done, and you have a couple of issues within the knee, and sending me to a orthopedic surgeon, and most likely I'm gonna end up having surgery this year. I'm gonna try to see if I could get it. The thing is, like, it all depends because I gotta talk to the surgeon, and then I gotta be like make a decision when I want to have the surgery done because we're already in March, and if I was to do any type of surgery, it's gonna be have to be like middle May. I would have to do like towards the middle of May because I would like to go to my niece's birthday party this year, and that's in Orlando. So I got a lot of thinking to do to see what I'm gonna end up doing. Um, right now, my knee is, like I said, it's just not good. Um, I feel like I'm on the last tread. You know, when your tires are bald and you know they're bald, and you're like, damn, I gotta get a new tires or else it's gonna blow. That's my knee right now. It could give out at any minute. And I just don't want it to give out this year. I want it to hold strong until at least May, and then possibly do the surgery, and then I'm going to be screwed for the summer. I don't think I'm going to be able to enjoy the summer this year, which is going to suck. I mean, I'll be able to go out and stuff. I'll probably end up being a little motorized scooter. I'm like this. I'm rolling down the highway. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to figure things out, and everything's just running 1,000 miles per hour in my head. And like I said, I didn't even know what the hell the title of the show, because my mind is just flabbergasted. Like, it's just too much going in there, and trying to figure shit out, and the world is just a wild place. But we're gonna get to some videos that I pulled up here for us to watch. So, you know what? Let's get right to it. First one I'm gonna watch tonight is first time I'm gonna actually watch his show on here is the Nate Freeman show, and I want us to pay attention to this gentleman, and let's focus our energies on what he's saying. And I hope we all could take it to heart and actually visualize what's going on, and you be the judge. Here we go.
This is my biggest expose yet. In this episode of the Nate Friedman Show, you will see that these Iran protests are bought and paid for. I located the office in which all the signs come from and exposed one of the top leaders of these paid protests.
Yeah, Terry,
this
how you doing?
Is brought to you by the Friedman Files.
Yeah,
my new website where you will get all the information on the paid protesters that I've exposed.
I have
on that later. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show. First thing we did was walk by the office about 2 hours before the protest started. And after seeing the signs were carefully laid out already, we knew it was only a matter of time until we saw this. All right, so you can see that none of this is grassroots. This is all paid for. Hey, how you doing, guys? Where are we headed with these signs? Where are we going here? You guys are saying that this is grassroots, but this does not look very grassroots.
Wow, look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. What the hell?
See this? All the same. Yeah, we're going to Columbus Circle with you guys. We'll see you there. Alrighty. Well, show this to people that say that any of this is grassroots. Show it to them. Show them.
They need to investigate this printing shop and
laid out right here. Are going to Columbus Circle really for a protest that Roy Neville Singham is paying for. Okay, a CCP billionaire who is trying to sow division into this country. He needs to be looked at, Roy Neville Singham. Oh, here we go, more signs. Oh my God, is this enough, guys?
Oh my God, they bring me up like a cart full of signs.
So let's just see roughly how many
signs.
How is that
grassroots?
PSL, probably George Soros is involved with PSL. This is a quick recap of how PSL is connected to Soros and how they send people to protest to prevent independent journalists like me from speaking to protesters. This happened way back at the Hands Off Iran protest back in June. When I went to just ask the guy a question, this gentleman wearing a shackled by the occupier shirt in Arabic came to stop my interview.
Okay. Hey man, can I ask you a question? Why are you stopping people from doing interviews?
Wow.
Can I ask you guys why you're doing that? You want to keep walking? Yeah, fake point somewhere that you need to go.
Now this guy is another professional protester. Take a look at this.
And you got these.
You see how he's the middle
in
one
here.
here with the director of the People's Forum occupying Fox News? Now, that's all normal behavior for these guys, but here's him getting arrested. Little less normal, but still par for the course. But what was he arrested for? Now, I found an article of him getting out of jail. You can clearly see it's him. It's the same tattoo. And the article says it's for the Columbia protest that took place. But yet there's no sign of him actually being a Columbia student. So when Eric Adams did say that there were outside agitators, maybe this is one of them. Now, it looks like he works with the PSL. You can see he doesn't like getting his picture taken. Now, the PSL's fiscal sponsor is the Progress Unity Fund, and we know from last episode that the sponsor of the Progress Unity Fund is the Tides Foundation. George Soros gave the Tides Foundation $40 million, so this is yet again another Soros soldier. It's important to note that after October 7th, PSL put out a statement that said resistance is justified when people are occupied free Palestine. Now, they don't hide their love of terror either by just putting Hezbollah flags on their flyers.
Answer Coalition, Progress Unity Fund. If you look at this over here, you can see answercoalition.org, which is funded by the Progress Unity Fund, which is funded by George Soros. So you got George Soros and you got Roy Neville Singham funding millions of dollars into this country, trying to sow division. And now everyone will see that none of this is natural. It comes from an office that he owns called the People's Forum on 37th Street. And what avenue? It's like 7th Avenue, I think.
That's crazy.
You're gonna load this into a van?
This is crazy.
Oh,
they're taking the signs back inside. They don't want the people to see the signs. Look, they don't even want to talk. Look how he shut the door. You saw how he pulled the door?
Oh, we'll be here for all of it.
That's golden.
Where to now?
Wow.
We're on a Columbus Circle, I thought. Oh, they're going to try to bring this
crazy.
back inside.
This business needs to be shut down.
We know where it's going. We know they're going to Columbus Circle. All right, we'll be waiting for you guys.
Wow.
You see American flag in there? No.
Nope.
Palestine,
yeah, all
Cuba,
other flags.
Jews,
No American
Palestine
flag.
For socialist literature. Okay? This is about socialism. Don't be mistaken. This is not about Palestine. This is about instilling a socialist Marxist hellscape inside of the United States.
Wow. Look, even the microphones and everything.
Right now, they have no choice because we checked to see, right? We checked to see that if they have a back door and didn't see a back door. So they've got no choice but to come out here and a van's going to drive up and they'll load the signs in. It says the People's Forum, a movement incubator. A movement incubator is really interesting language to use for a paid protesting incubator. Okay, so this guy's going to drive up and they're going to load all the signs into this car right here. Alrighty?
Play by play.
Come with me.
Damn, he's doing play by play.
Here we go. Let's load them all into this van.
Wow, this is sad.
Hired a
What
service for
pathetic.
this?
They're so pathetic. Hands off Iran. Hands off. Look. They go with their little signs. Oh, listen, you guys are doing such a
Roy
wonderful
Neville Singham
job.
paid these folks $20 million through the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund, a donor-advised fund. He did it honestly, but he was caught. This is obvious sowing of division in the United States. If Elon Musk had not bought an X, these people would have won. See for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Witness this.
That is despicable. That's un-American. What the fuck are these people like? Stop the war.
And we will go with
Iran. What the fuck is that?
Stuff here.
Are you kidding me?
We got the white signs.
Oh yeah, look.
Okay.
All their
Now,
their
would there even
materials.
be a protest without these people? No. What signs would they be holding? Nothing. They wouldn't even know that there is a protest because it's all organized by the People's Forum. This is a movement incubator. A movement incubator. Oh, they got a second car. So here he says the second car is here. 2 cars.
Wow.
To load up all their signs. This is not an Uber or a Lyft that's picking them up. This is a well-organized and calculated process. So we've got a ramp.
Very calculated.
You gotta load on all the signs.
Wow.
All the megaphones. That they chant the downfall of America. Oh, here's a giant Palestine flag. I thought this was an Iran protest. Why is there a giant
look, they even got a
Palestine
little
flag?
person. They got a little person.
Okay, you ready to go?
Back in our days, we used to call them midgets.
What is wrong with us?
You are such a cowardly piece of shit.
Why?
Why is she talking?
Who pays me? YouTube pays me. My viewers pay me.
How much
By
money do you
watching.
get? This is not real journalism. You're a complete fake
Okay.
journalist.
Did you or did you not get $20 million from Roy Neville Singham to protest? Did you or did you
How much money
not?
do you get for your right-wing?
Yeah, she's turning around with
you
a
can look on
question.
YouTube on Social Blade. You can see exactly how much I earned. Yeah, take a photo of me as if there isn't already a photo. Why are you taking a photo of me as if you don't already know who I am?
I don't understand.
You're all sick of me. So what are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do about it?
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I don't have to do anything about it because you
Then
don't bother
shut
us
the
that
fuck
much.
up.
You don't
Why are you
Clearly I am, because you're video.
interfering.
You're just a complete idiot. You're a fake journalist.
Listen to her.
I think that you should.
What have I done that's
feel
fake?
ashamed of yourself every single day.
You should feel ashamed for yourself for sowing division and
sidewalk. Get a real job. Be a real journalist. And do
Yeah,
something.
get a real
something in
job.
your life. Do
how
something.
can
What
you
job
say
you
with a
have,
straight
lady?
face for me to get a real job? How can you keep a straight face and say that?
Get a real job. What a clown.
Did you or did you not get $20 million from Roy Neville Singham? You can't deny it. There it is.
Meet Layan Fulihan. She's a paid protester. Her base salary is $70,000 with an additional compensation of $8,649. So who is this woman getting paid $80K a year to protest?
Wow,
Layan is a
look
Columbia
at this
alum with a
shit.
Palestinian background. She holds a full-time staff position as an educator at the People's Forum as she protests all around New York City. Here she is alongside Taher, another paid protesting leader that we've exposed. Roy Neville Singham pays Layan to travel.
horrible,
That's
man.
why you see her speaking in Washington,
should be in
D.C.
jail,
at
to be
another
honest with
protest.
you.
None of this is
That's very
grassroots.
treasonous.
Know that. Here she is being paid to argue with the police as she blocks traffic outside Columbia University.
Get to the pen. You gotta go in the pen. You are blocking pedestrian traffic. You are blocking pedestrian traffic. Sir, you need to go in the pen. Or you'll be subject to
Here she is again with Taher alongside Mahmoud Khalil. When she's arrested, Singham is there to bail her out. You can see the People's Forum announced that her and David Chung, another paid protester who gets paid $75,000 a year to protest, were both arrested. You can get David Chung's Friedman file that consists of never seen before research right now if you scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description or in my bio. Layan speaks at the People's Forum about her Marxist agenda as she carefully and subtly ushers in Islam into the West. They actually teach classes advocating for Marxism at the People's Forum. Layan celebrated Hamas's atrocities on October 7th. She tweeted out on October 7th, "Long live the Palestinian resistance." She frames the US and Israel as joint imperialist forces committing engineered genocide.
Put an end to all U.S. imperialist complicity and engineered genocide against the Palestinian people and all oppressed people across the world.
Layan reposts words from Nasrallah, the former leader of Hezbollah, saying, "Who would have thought so many young people would support Palestine? This woman in America is being paid money to promote the words of terrorists who have killed American servicemen." Here she is speaking in Spanish in Venezuela at the International Solidarity Conference that Nicolas Maduro spoke at. Here she is defending the regime.
Yo soy de raíces palestinas y estamos en un mundo totalmente diferente, cambiado por la resistencia palestina, porque aunque veo cada día los horrores del imperialismo estadounidense, de los sionistas, lo que están haciendo a nuestro pueblo, yo realmente siento que estamos en un momento en que todo el mundo está más y más consciente que tenemos el mismo enemigo. Y eso
she
nos
needs
une.
to be thrown in
Venezuela,
jail. That's
Cuba
what she needs to
son
be
en el
thrown.
frente de ese movimiento internacionalista y tenemos que defender a Venezuela al mismo tiempo que
Venezuela is doing just fine without Maduro.
Layan calls for revolution in
Makes
her
zero
classes,
sense.
talking about how the Russian Revolution was the first time workers and peasants seized state power and held on to it. That's what these people are paid to make happen right here in America. Just how badly has Layan been radicalized? How much does she want revolution in America? This much.
We have two options: either victory or death.
Yeah,
There is no in between.
this is that victory or death. Wow. Well, that's
And we
the
went
threat.
to that protest that they were preparing for and just
So that's
what
a
we
threat.
saw.
You can see it's all the same signs that we saw them loading into the van. You see how, what would they be holding if not for those vans?
Shit.
In massive numbers.
Oh, there she is. The clown talking.
Nice to see you. No, do your thing.
I will be exposing many of the other paid activists at this protest. I wanted to include it in this video, but I have to go right now to DC for a scheduled interview with Congresswoman Luna, and I will bring this report directly to her. If you want to know more about these protesters, there is no better way than to sign up for the Freedman Files at Nate.
That's crazy. Okay, that's just insane. At this point, what are we doing here? Well, why are we letting these people? Okay, they're like, yeah, but it's the First Amendment. Okay, but you don't get to abuse the First Amendment by billionaires that are funding you to cause havoc. Are you kidding me? That's not First Amendment. That's called treasonous act. You guys are acting very treasonous, and I think you guys should be, I don't know, we could throw them in Guantanamo. Why not, right? Throw them in Guantanamo. Have them serve. Oh, my ear just popped really loud again. There might be something big going on again. Holy shit, man. Why is my ear doing that? Give me 1 second. Damn. Last time that happened, the war started. Are they dropping bigger weapons? Possibly. Holy shit, that's loud, man. I hate when that happens. Because it's like it really catches me off guard, but that time it was in my left ear, very loud, it's kind of like it's like when your ear pops, but it's like a really strong and it goes away. It's really fast. Oh man, we're living in interesting times. I'm happy to be alive. The only thing that next could happen, Jesus comes out of nowhere and says, "This is the end for everyone," and wipes everybody off the world. That's the only thing I'm waiting for. Okay, let's check this out. Jason A. Let's put up the volume first. Give me 1 second. Let me set that up because this is on the fly. Everything's on the fly. I hate YouTube with their little buttons here. Here we go.
And then there's this report from independent journalist Jonathan Larson this morning. I don't know if you've seen this yet, where he's found that U.S. troops were told the Iran war is for Armageddon and the return of Jesus. I'll read you a little bit from this piece.
Look at that.
Unit
About Jesus.
told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war is part of God's plan, that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth. According to a complaint by a non-commissioned officer from Saturday morning through Monday night, more than 110 similar complaints about commanders in every branch of the military had been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. And just as one more example, of course, we all listened to that interview between Mike Huckabee, Christian Zionist, and Tucker Carlson, where he said, yeah, I'm good with the Greater Israel Project because he sees that as fulfillment of a biblical prophecy.
Stargazers around the country were treated to a total lunar eclipse last night. The phenomenon began at about 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It lasted for more than an hour. Also known as a blood moon, it was also seen over North America and New Zealand. It's the last time the rare total lunar eclipse will be seen until 2029.
We weren't able to see it here.
So this is the key question. Why did they do this? I think there are three possibilities.
Early this morning.
And I think all three possibilities are valid. The first is the idea of hubris. If you look at history, this is how empires behave. So the Mindoro kidnapping was quick, successful, and it was adrenaline rush.
That's not kidnapping, you idiot.
And that made him overconfident in the capacity of the American military. Okay, so hubris is a factor, and we see this throughout history. Why did Hitler invade Stalin? Because he conquered Europe really easily, and he thought he was invincible. Right, and that led to the destruction of the German army in the Soviet Union. So hubris is a factor. Then you have to look at internal political calculus, where even though America does not benefit from this war against Iran, Trump himself personally benefits. Why? Because the Saudis and the Israelis are bribing him to attack Iran. Remember that the Saudis invested $2 billion in the private equity fund of Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law of Donald Trump. And the Israelis, through Miriam Adelson, have been financing Trump's political career, right? So Miriam Adelson a few months back said that he will put up $250 million if Trump were to run a third term. So Trump is getting a lot of financial and political support from the Saudis and Israelis. Also remember that if this war goes sideways and Trump is forced to use ground troops, he will probably get approval from Congress, and this will give him emergency war powers, which will allow him to influence the midterms. So Trump is thinking about a third term. And I think at the ballot box, he probably won't get it. But if there's a war going on and you can delay elections and you have emergency war powers and people rally around the flag, then he probably will get a third term. And the last factor that is very important is the eschatological factor, where if you look at the Epstein files, it's clear that we are run by secret societies. It's clear that the world is run by these individuals who have a lot of power. We don't know who they are, but they control the military. They control the national security apparatus. And these people, there are different names for these people. You can call them the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are composed of three major groups. Okay, you have the Jesuits, who control the Vatican. You have the Sephardim Frankists, which control the modern state of Israel today. You have the Freemasons, which control the national security apparatus of the United States. And they believe that Israel, this war in the Middle East, is key to the end times in creating heaven on earth. So it's almost like a script that they're following, even though it doesn't make any geopolitical sense. Okay, so I would say that these three are the best reasons why this is happening.
Wow. Well, sir, I hope you come back. This was very informative, I think, for both of us. We deeply appreciate your time. Thank you.
You can't help but behold the miracle before you. And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle. 1948 was a miracle. 1967 was a miracle. 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle. And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
In advance or just after Trump started this war, there was this bizarre CNN piece where they were talking about how the date was chosen because of its connection to the Purim holiday and something to do with Amalek. We've got Bibi out talking about Amalek again, you know, similar rhetoric to what we heard in connection with the genocide in Gaza.
Axios had this about the scope and scale of what we're talking about right now, that the sheer geographic scope of the war is staggering, directly involving at least 11 countries, disrupting the global flow of oil and gas and rattling markets worldwide. This is really the first time that we have seen the Gulf states band together against Iran, joining the United States and Israel. How unique is that to you as somebody who's followed this your entire career?
And a map shows Israeli forces are extending their retaliatory strikes beyond Beirut, stretching into several Lebanese cities. Saudi Arabia could be on the brink of joining the regional conflict as well. A source telling Fox News that country is considering Air Force strikes on Iran targets, and in response to unprecedented missile and drone attacks from Iran. Brand new video from U.S. Central Command shows the equipment engaged in the Middle East mission. High-powered jets adding to the largest regional concentration of American military firepower in a generation.
Spur a public debate in the United States about this war. Make no mistake, Iran, not to mention Russia and China, are closely tracking the debates in the U.S. Congress for some who, including on the Republican side, who don't support the war effort, and they want to try to take advantage of that.
Can you talk about this immediate order from the State Department to Americans saying to immediately leave the region?
Well, I think, look, the Trump administration wanted to hold on to this element of surprise for the attack that we were planning on launching against Iran. And now we are in incident response, which makes it extraordinarily difficult to get our people out safely. There's a war on, and God forbid you're in Israel and you want to get out, or in the region. It's extraordinarily difficult. It puts a strain on the State Department to ensure that our U.S. citizens are able to evacuate as safely as possible. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if down the road we may see the U.S. military become more involved in exfiltrating our citizens from harm's way.
To that end, Ambassador Michael Waltz said this.
President Trump is never going to take options off the table. Again, unlike his predecessor, who told the world, including our adversaries, over and over again, what he wasn't going to do. But I think the bigger point, which you nailed it, is that this President Trump, isn't about admiring the problem, hand-wringing. He's about solving these problems on his watch, not handing it over to the next generation.
They've also been saying that it is, of course, conditions-based and not based on a time frame. I'll give you a final thought here, Dan.
Look, I just think that what began this war was that the United States put massive military assets into the region designed to induce Iran to come to an agreement on their nuclear program, ballistic missile program, and support to proxy terrorists. Of course, Iran never negotiated in good faith, and I think the war will end when either all of that is destroyed or some remnant of this Iranian regime comes to the table and negotiates so that the Iranian regime no longer presents a threat in the region and beyond.
If the moon looks a little flush this morning, don't fret. It's just putting on a little bit of a show.
That's right. A rare blood moon total lunar eclipse is casting that deep orange-red glow. And our David Gonzalez is keeping an eye on it from the Griffith.
But it's really cool because, Marissa, all jokes aside, I feel like these moments are moments where it kind of feels like we're all together. And there's something very special about that, because there's very few times in this crazy world that we live in that everybody can just pause as humanity and take it in.
Take it in, man. Isn't that Jericho? They're like, take it in, man. Oh, man. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Today I'm in a I don't know phase, because I don't know what the fuck is going on in this world. This world is just really... every day it is like the Democrats always with the same bullshit. It's all fake. Everything's all fake. Like, I prefer if the world was to blow up. That way everybody goes at the same time. Not a problem, right? They'll find a way to keep it a problem. That's just it, It's just the beginning. This is just the beginning. It's the beginning of the end. All right, let's go ahead and take this out and let's watch another video. You ready to watch another video? Here we go with another Chase It Ain't.
Meanwhile, some people are on high alert after seeing a group of low-flying helicopters. The choppers, which apparently belong to the military, have been the talk of social media.
Yeah, a lot of people raising a lot of questions about these. Katrina Weber tells us why the source of all that buzz in local neighborhoods may be far from home themselves.
The images in San Antonio's skies have made a long-lasting impression on the ground.
It was a little nerve-wracking.
Daryl Melanson was taking out the trash Monday evening when he heard a thundering noise over his neighborhood near I-10 and De Zavala.
And I could see them, 3 of them.
An odd sight, military choppers information.
Why would they have the helicopters here? Where are they flying? Why are they going so
low?
They're all throughout
People
the United
across sites
States.
such as Reddit and Nextdoor have the same questions.
They said, have you seen this? And what's going on? I mean, there's a major concern for it.
Oh, the Karens are going crazy.
The overhead air show, but read about it online.
The Karens are going crazy.
I see a squadron of Chinooks, with tandem rotor blades flying.
Even to this Vietnam and Gulf War veteran, it's a strange sight.
It makes me aware of them. I keep my eye on them because I think, well, why are they coming so low?
The sightings have been far and wide all across the city, and not just in one day. People on the northeast side began posting on social media about choppers 2 days before the Monday night sightings on the northwest side. And Tuesday morning, people on the west side near Radley began spotting them. According to the Texas Military Department, those helicopters are far from home, out of Fort Campbell in Kentucky. But so far, their mission here is unclear.
We're being attacked, or it could be that we're going to...
No, you idiot.
Have something,
we live in the United States.
More than practice.
Election day, Iran, the craziness of, just everything.
In the meantime, it has speculation flying high.
We see helicopters flying in formation.
As I mentioned before, 3 people killed. Fox confirmed the shooter who police killed was a naturalized citizen from Senegal. Sources are now telling Fox the shooter was wearing clothing that said Allah on it, and he had on an undershirt with an Iranian flag on it. The FBI has just announced they are investigating this as a possible act of terrorism.
Thank you. Cameron Arkin with the Daily Wire. My question is about some of the domestic threats, if any.
He's a paper American.
Right now.
That's what it is.
Any concerns about Iranian sleeper cells, and kind of what has the Trump administration been doing to kind of monitor these?
Well, across the interagency, in full coordination. Of course, we're paying attention to any potentialities there. This is a former regime, that seeks to export that ideology and try to sow terror. We're ready for that. We've seen these types of folks before, and the American people can rest assured that we're vigilant on that.
And we're so secure in our homeland, sometimes we can forget that we live in a very small and ever increasingly dangerous world. The largest state sponsor of terror is this Iranian regime.
Why are liberals so moronic about the problem? Really,
it just breaks my heart, because for years and years, we have been warning them about the dangers of morality police. You know why? Because most of them speak in a perfect English, and they have who actually talk about Islam and Islamic countries. They never go and live under Sharia laws. But they don't even let us talk about our own experience, you know?
Yes.
I grew up in a country where I was told that if you show your hair, you're going to go to jail. You will receive lashes. You will get killed like Mahsa Amini. But here, they tell me that, shh, if you talk about this, you're going to cause Islamophobia. Phobia is irrational. But believe me, my fear and the fear of millions of Iranian women in Afghanistan is rational.
Yes, and as you said, stunning and scary indeed. So, Pierre, in this heightened environment of security and this threat environment, what are officials telling you?
Well, one of the things we're seeing is a direct response to what's happening overseas. Number one, the FBI alerted all their counterterrorism and counterintelligence teams to be on high alert. The Department of Homeland Security held a conference call with police from around the country. They're warning about the potential for sympathizers and others to potentially act out, although that has not been the case in the past. They're not ruling it out. Also, the Secret Service yesterday began to expand the security around, obviously, President Trump, Vice President Vance, and also all the living former presidents as well. So you see direct response to, again, the potential that there could be some kind of violent reaction to what we're seeing happening in Iran.
This is either a lone wolf attack or it's a sleeper cell, probably the former. But nonetheless, there's 2 people dead and 14 wounded, and it's disgusting and it's awful. We're in this situation where we want to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Being that we're an open society, and unfortunately millions of people under the last administration crossed the border illegally, and the majority of those weren't even from Mexico. They were from everywhere else in the world. And there were an increased number of Russians, Chinese, Iranians, et cetera, that did cross the border illegally. Some of them, by just law of averages, are going to have a loyalty, unfortunately, to their mother country, and they may act. And we need to be prepared for such a contingency.
And this comes as we know there is an elevated threat environment and heightened security across the country.
Janae, the scenario that played out is both stunning and scary. They described a suspect driving up in a large SUV, firing out the window at people on the street, then at some point parking the vehicle, exiting the vehicle, and then continuing to fire his weapon. With so many injured, as you saw, and 3 dead before being killed himself by the police. Obviously, there were things, again, to quote the FBI official, there were things on his person and in his vehicle that point to terrorism. We're in the process of digging into that, trying to find out more details about precisely what that was. But you're right. This comes at a moment when we are in a heightened alert because of the ongoing conflict, U.S. military campaign in Iran, and U.S. officials have been concerned that there could be spin-off violence, if you will, people who are reacting to what they're seeing overseas. And again, that possibility is being investigated as we speak.
I mean, Khamenei, he was a religious figure. We don't know if this attack was associated, but it very well may be. But the fact is, this isn't a representation of how most people from that region feel. The Iranian people, they fear their own rulers more than our own military. They hate, their own oppressive rulers than anyone else. And we may see more attacks like this. We have to be vigilant. There are proxy groups everywhere that are looking for ways to harm Americans and hurt Americans. And but the fact of the matter is, overall, there are images right now showing most Iranians and most Shias celebrating today, not because of war, but because they hate their own rulers more than anyone else. That's a sign that we're striking, not just at their military, we're striking at the legitimacy of a brutal regime. The Iranian people want better relationships with the West. They have the potential to be our biggest ally. I think it's important we collectively separate the terrorist regime from that of the majority Iranian people. These people have spent decades, trying to hurt us. And so the fact is, again, we just need to remain vigilant in the wake of these strikes.
Iran's foreign minister did not mention Gulf countries in his remarks. Iran continues to attack them. For now, those countries remain on defense. And tonight, Qatar says they have arrested 2 cells of IRGC members in their country. John?
Oh, that's news. Interesting.
Yeah, it is news. Thank you, Jason A. Great upload there. It's going to bring it back to me here. I was looking for something. What I was looking for? I'm looking for something that I came across. I wanted to see if I could find it. Give me one sec. If I can see if I could find it. Something that I had I came across earlier today. But I don't think I can find it right now. Damn, that was a good one too. Well, I guess I'm gonna still see if I can find it. Just because I think it's important for us to watch, but I don't see it. That's weird. Maybe he took it down? I mean, that's the only thing that I think that could have happened. And they probably took the video down. Because I just don't see it. And it's a video that I came across. And darn it. All right, well, I'm going to put on the next video. I'm going to see if I can still find. Because my eyes are actually like tired also. So I'm like, can I find this? Yeah, I saw the Iranian women soccer team didn't sing the national anthem for the Iranian national anthem. That was pretty unique. Damn, I cannot believe I can't find it. And then my keyboard isn't working properly, so I can't really like type it in without going towards the computer, and I don't want to get up right now for that. Damn, this sucks. Where did I put that? All right, let me just continue on with the show. If I come across it, then I'll show it to you guys. Let's go ahead and move forward to Melody King. Let's watch.
Another update. Jerusalem Post says President Trump is the savior of Israel. World War III fears explode as Putin crony issues chilling 249 years old warning to Trump. A top ally of Vladimir Putin has launched a scathing attack against Donald Trump after issuing yet another chilling World War III warning. Russia's former president cautioned that the world is nearing a major confrontation, claiming the U.S. actions could trigger World War III and that a global catastrophe may be imminent. He stated, has the Third World War already begun, or is the world still not entering it? Or are we balancing? Formally, no, but if Trump continues his insane course of criminal regime change, it will undoubtedly begin. And any event could trigger it. Any event, this is a war by the U.S. and its allies to maintain global dominance. The pigs don't want to give up their trough. The Iranians also warned the enemy will no longer be safe anywhere, not even home. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps warns that the United States will no longer be safe on the third day of joint U.S.-Israeli attacks against the Islamic Republic. They stated the enemy should know that their happy days are over and they will no longer be safe anywhere in the world, not even in their own homes. Also, Trump won't rule out ground troops on Iran. It says campaign could last 5 weeks. There's also pro-government rallies all across Tehran. What's crazy to me is that there's so many people online saying that the Iranians are free right now. Just want to remind everybody, just because a supreme leader was killed does not mean that these people are free. Their government has not been destroyed, so I'm not even sure why people are saying this. Just because the U.S. took out a leader does not mean these people are free now. Anyways, the Pentagon tells Congress no sign that Iran was developing nuclear weapons, sources say. Iranian missile warhead fell less than a kilometer from Temple Mount. Iran rejected Trump's ultimatum and vows no surrender as Tehran launches new attacks.
I wanted to rewind really quickly because look at what this article says. It says Pentagon tells Congress there's no sign that Iran was developing nuclear weapons, sources say. So when I saw this video yesterday from Itty Bitty Tara, guys, she is amazing time biblical prophecy, connecting and finding like deep news articles and information that is not on the surface, connecting them all together. She does an excellent job. If you are not following her on TikTok, I promise you, you need to be. I will remember to leave her link below. So last night I went on the hunt looking for this, right? Looking for this exact thing. I could not find it. I went the BBC. I scoured DeepSeek. I tried to find it. And the closest I could find was this. Take a look. So it's Pentagon tells Congress no sign that Iran was going to attack U.S. first, sources say. Now, even these articles are now deeply buried. Okay, it's very difficult to find it, but this is the closest one I could find. But look at how the language has changed. Now, I first noticed how they changed the titles of things when I was covering the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case, and I would see the article and then I would go back and they would change it, just update it and don't, and act like, nothing to see here, folks. So I want you to be aware of that, okay? Because there is a huge difference between no sign that Iran was going to attack the U.S. first versus that there's no sign that Iran was developing nuclear weapons. So these are things you're going to have to keep your eyes and ears open for, right? But then there's something else I want to show you that Tara presented just a couple of hours ago. And again, I want to direct you guys to go back and please follow her. Like again, it will not be a waste of time. In fact, she did a really good piece on tying, if you don't know, last night was a blood moon for the third year in a row. Okay. And how it's Purim and how it relates to the book of Esther and actually an original war between Persia and Israel and Esther. I kid you not. And this all happened at the same time, as well as the planets lining up together, guys. It is wild times. I'm going to be reporting on that over on my other channel, Melanie Offscript, right after I do this video. But I want to show you something because, again, I want to continue to tie these things directly to biblical prophecy when I can find that information, just to open your eyes as to what is really going on. We never want to be surface level. We don't. You can get that from anywhere, but we want to tie this into things that we know are happening and how this directly correlates to the return of Jesus Christ. Okay. And how these bigger pieces are moving on the chessboard that most people who are still asleep, most people who still have that veil on their eyes, they're just not going to see it.
This is crazy. U.S. troops were told Iran war is for Armageddon, return of Jesus. A combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. Saturday morning through Monday night, more than 110 similar complaints about commanders in every branch of the military has been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. The complaints came from more than 40 different units spread across at least 30 military installations. One complainant identified themselves as a non-commissioned officer, NCO, in a unit currently outside the Iran combat zone, but in ready support status. The NCO wrote to the MRFF that their commander urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan, and he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. This is the email right here. Pause and read. I find this deeply concerning, especially when we're nowhere near Armageddon. That they are spreading this misinformation to our troops is disturbing.
So I went ahead and blew up this email so that we can read it. But I want you to know the reason why that is not true is because Armageddon is at the end of the tribulation. First, Jesus must return in the clouds. Okay. And then those who are believers in Jesus Christ, right? Those who believe in Jesus Christ will be raptured in the clouds with Jesus. Okay. Then begins the 7-year tribulation. Armageddon is at the end of tribulation. Yes. Pre-tribulation rapture. I've proven this thoroughly. In fact, Ashley Hayes has proven this thoroughly through the scripture. It was not created by Darby in the 1800s, guys. It wasn't. Okay. And so I will try to remember to leave a link in the description box if you want to go directly and go see her video about that, because it thoroughly debunks everything else. But let me just say this. So this is, I don't know what doctrine they're believing, but this is not Armageddon. Okay. This is a war that's going to lead to a lot of different things, but that is not one of them. But let's read this email. And then this is an actual real article. I pulled it up, right? And it's just unbelievable that this is the beliefs that are coming out, that they believe that this is a holy war. And it is not. It is not a holy war. Okay. The only holy war that we're going to see is, again, when at the end of tribulation, when Jesus Christ returns, and that will be the true holy war, or Armageddon. Anyway, so it says this is from active duty military NCO and MRFF client's email address withheld. Subject: unit combat readiness briefing in Armageddon, March 2nd. Okay, so it says, and it says Mikey at militaryreligiousfreedom.org. Information Weinstein. I'm not sure what that means. So they're saying that Mikey, a NCO rank withheld in our unit. This morning, our commander opened up with the combat readiness status briefing by urging us not to be afraid as to what is happening with our combat operations in Iran right now. He urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan. And he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation, referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. He said that President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. This actually ties into a belief system that really, I'm not going to go into all the details here, but I think it's Professor Peter Yang. He has broken this down really beautifully just to kind of understand what possibly some of this thinking could be with some of people who believe this. That this is all in part to bring apart a new world order, but tying in Jesus returning and Armageddon and Christianity that is really not, it's not scriptural. It's not biblical, because if you truly believe in that, you have to understand that once Jesus physically returns on earth, not the rapture, but at the end of the tribulation, when he physically returns, that he's going to destroy all this evil, and then he is going to reign from Jerusalem, and those who believe in Christ will reign with Jesus during that time. Because believe it or not, there will be people who survive the tribulation. Yes. And then he will have a millennial reign, 1,000-year millennial reign. We are not in Satan's little season. That's been thoroughly debunked as well, guys. Okay. We're not getting into that. But that he will have a millennial reign, right, for 1,000 years. And then Satan will have a short season. Don't know what that is. He will be able to do something else. And then finally, it will be one last destruction of Satan. And then the earth will be destroyed. And then God will create a new earth, a permanent earth. Okay. This is what is in the scripture. So anything else about peace being brought on earth by a human being is anti-biblical. It's anti-Christ thinking. It is not in the word of God, and it is really blasphemy. But this is what we're seeing, a lot of deception out here where people don't know the word. Okay, they're just parroting things, or people are deceivers, wolves in sheep's clothing, that are leading people astray, whether knowingly or unknowingly. But we are called to know the scripture, and this is one reason why I want to thoroughly, talk about this, because I don't want anyone to get confused and say that this is some war and somehow that, a man on earth can be a savior of anyone. That is idolatry, blasphemy. I mean, everything you can think of. We look to Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ alone. A politician is not going to save you. A government's not going to save you. A country's not going to save you. Okay. None of that is going to save you. Only through Jesus Christ can you be saved. Period. There is no in between. So anything else you hear, understand that is coming from an anti-Christ viewpoint of thinking. But anyway, let's continue. It says, is all part of the divine plan. Okay, he cited numerous books, blah, blah, blah. President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. There's nothing in the Bible about lighting a signal fire. That's
exactly.
Where are they getting this?
I don't know.
He had a big grin on his face when he said all of this, which made his message seem even more crazy. Our commander would probably be described as a Christian first supporter. He has been this way for a very long time and makes it clear that he desires all of us under him to become just like him as a Christian. But what he did this morning was so toxic and over the line that it shocked many of us in attendance at the ops readiness briefing. Besides myself, let me see if I can move this over a bit more. There we go. Besides myself, I am reaching out to MRFF on behalf of 15 fellow troops. I know you asked me about the religious views of our group. Who has requested help from the MRFF? If only... I cannot read it because it's cover up. Sorry. If only blank Christian, and at least 10 of the others were also Christians. One of the others is Jewish and one is Muslim. I don't know the religious or non-religious status of the other 3 at this time. So they're making it about religious freedom. I'm making it about this is false doctrine and delusion and anti-biblical in every possible way. And it is very important that we call these things out, because in these last days, you're going to see many deceived. You now have people who are talking about in the Epstein files that it's Christians who are doing this, that the Christians, that Epstein and all these people are Christians, and they are the ones harming children, eating them, sacrificing them to Baal and Moloch. I kid you not. But this is part of what is going to set people up for the Antichrist, and that the whole world will turn against Christians. Okay. Those who are left behind, who become saved during the tribulation. And this is why they will, in particular, will be hunted down and beheaded, because there will be people who come to Christ after the rapture. Right. I believe that's what Project Bluebeam is. I think it is a way for them to explain away the rapture. I don't think they actually have the capability of it. I think they've laid the foundation of saying that anything that happens like this is Project Bluebeam. So those who don't know any better, they're going to just assume, oh, the government did this, or this was Project Bluebeam and already, was supposed to happen. So guys, there are so many layers of deception. You have got to weed through it. You have got to get in your word. You have got to find Bible believing teachers who are teaching the truth and don't have some side agenda, and you see many of them, but you once you weed through it, and you've got to stand firm on your faith. That's what the Bible talks about, us enduring to the end and not falling away from the faith. Many will fall away, those who call themselves Christians but were never truly saved. It was just a form of religious practice, right? Or they're going to be so outraged by what's happening in the world, they no longer want to believe in Jesus. They no longer believe in Jesus, because how could God let any of this happen when we know the Bible clearly says that Satan is the ruler of this world, right? That we wrestle not against flesh and blood, that essentially the government is ran and ruled by Satan and the entities of the government, the world government. That's why I tell you, no government is going to save you, no politician. They cannot. But 2, their actions, whether directly knowing or not knowing, They are all designed, they're all controlled by Satan. He is the ruler. And I can show you multiple verses about this. Even Jesus, even when Jesus was, remember when Satan, right, took Jesus up to the mountain and said, look at all these kings in the world. I can give you all this power. I can give you all of this. He was trying to tempt Jesus. How could he tempt Jesus, the Son of God, right? How could he tempt him to give him all this? Because that was showing demonstration that he was the one who ruled them. He was the one that owned them. He was the one that gave out who would have power, who would have influence, who would have money. All right. So even Jesus himself was tempted as we were tempted in all ways. But Satan himself came to him with the temptation of, I'll give you these kingdoms. How could he give a kingdom? How could he give a government to Jesus if he's not the ruler of it? Stay tuned because I have a lot more to give you guys. There's a lot coming out. But I want.
So she's going to be advertising her stuff. That's great. I would love. And I need to order a whole bunch of shit. I need to get stuff from Chloe. I have to do so many things. It's just, I've been so caught up with myself and getting myself taken care of that I just really don't have much time in the day to do anything, even to get anything for myself. The only thing I've been focusing on is the Pokemon, which I love. That's something that it's a hobby that I'm doing for me for now, but it's for my niece. So I'm not really going to benefit. The only thing I benefit from it is opening and being surprised by a special, beautiful card, especially illustration rare or SIR. Yeah, it brings me excitement, but it's not really for me. It's for my niece. So all the stuff that you see here, this is not really for me. It's like I said before, my time is up. Her time is now. I'm not turning into John Cena, but let me tell you something. It's her time, and this is her stuff, and she's only 4 years old, and I'm collecting for her future, because 15 years from now, all this stuff is going to be pretty pricey, and eventually I want to start opening majority of the stuff, but I'm going to take my time with it because I'm doing my YouTube shorts. I'm trying to gain subscribers and lure them in and get the Pokemon individuals to come and watch what I'm producing and getting them focused on what's going on in the world and start paying attention to what's going on in the world. Because you got a lot of people, they're not paying attention. By the way, I did find that video. I found the video. I want us to, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want to play a segment of this video, and here we go. Let's watch this. Let's put the video.
Trump derangement as the basis for their ideological foundation is a winning strategy. Trump already regained a ton of Hispanic support after arresting Nicolas Maduro, and now he's going to receive an overwhelming support from Arabs after taking out Ayatollah, because these groups have been sold by the Democrats that they stand with minorities and the Republicans are just racist. But now they clearly see the Democrat Party actually stands with murderous dictators, supporting the people who ruined their home country so substantially that they had to flee to America in the first place. They came here for freedom and dignity and to get far away from tyranny. And now they see that the Democrat Diversity Coalition is just a way for them to trick minorities to allow Democrats to bring that same style of government here to America. But the last thing I want to talk about in today's video is the Islamic terror attack that happened in Austin, Texas by a 53-year-old Senegalese naturalized citizen. This extremely tragic situation exposed how misguided, delusional, and dangerous our immigration policy has been. This man was a naturalized U.S. citizen and still carried out a terrorist attack while wearing a sweatshirt that said, "Property of Allah." And I'm sure on his immigration application, he didn't clearly write, "Oh yeah, I'm a radical jihadist who hates America." Just like Zoran Mamdani didn't write on his application, "I'm a radical Islamic communist who also hates America." We've been letting in millions of people from the most dangerous and destabilized places on planet Earth under the pretense of, hey, just trust me, bro, I'm one of the good ones. And now we're forced with the serious reality that there are likely millions of people residing within our borders who are waiting, frothing at the mouth to cause harm to American citizens on behalf of a foreign adversarial ideology. All because liberal altruism and egalitarianism had to show people that we could all coexist as humans from all walks of life right here on magical American soil. And to prove that we could all peacefully live together in harmony based on our shared humanity, we didn't just go grab people from countries that are slightly different than us. No, we had to grab people from countries whose way of life is completely antithetical to ours in every single way. Take a look at this final bonus clip that I promised you from 2023 at the southern border. Prepared to be shocked.
How you doing? Where are you from? Senegal. Where are you going? New York. New York. Thank you, sir. You? Senegal. Where are you going? Thank you. Where are you from? Senegal. Where are you going? North Carolina. Thank you, sir. You? Where are you from? Senegalese. Where are you going? Thank you, sir. Where are you from? Senegal. Where are you going? Senegal. Thank you. Where are you going? New York. From where? Yeah. Senegal? Thank you. Where are you from? From Senegal. Where are you going?
Y'all Senegal.
Columbus, Ohio. Thank you, sir. You? Where are you going? Columbus. Columbus. Thank you. Where are you from? Senegal. Where are you going? Senegal. Where are you going? New York. Thank you, sir. And you? Senegal. Where are you going? New York. Thank you, sir. You? Senegal. Where are you going? Yeah. Thank you, sir. Where are you? Where are you from? Senegal. Oh my God. Where are you going? New York. New York. You? Gambia. Gambia? Yeah. You're lying. Yeah. You're lying. Is he from Gambia? Yeah. Okay, okay. You're going where? New York. Thank you. You? Senegal. Senegal. Where are you going? New York. Thank you. You? Senegal. Where are you going? Los Angeles. Oh, smart man. Joe Biden. Oh, what do you say to Joe Biden? Joe Biden is the American president. You like him? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. Joe Biden is good. You Joe Biden's good? Yeah. Or no Trump? No. Trump or Biden? No. No, neither.
No Trump.
Okay. You?
He don't want Trump. Of course. Biden, because they let him all in.
Thank you, sir. You speak
like Ohio. They're all going to Ohio, New York, Los Angeles.
Where are you from? Where are you going, sir? Kentucky.
Those are all military-aged men from Senegal, the same country where the Texas shooter is from. Not a woman in sight, not a child in sight. Just a bunch of violent third world military-aged men who don't speak a lick of English other than, I'm from Senegal and I'm going to New York, who don't share an iota of our values and have no comprehension of what it takes to be self-sufficient in a first world country. Every single man you saw in that video will be a government welfare dependent from the time they cross that border to the day they die. They are literally forcing Americans to pay for the third worldification of our own country. Because according to liberals, being kind and being compassionate means reducing our standard of living tremendously, just so a bunch of third worlders who don't know how to build or participate in civilization can live a better life than they did before. Our jobs as Americans is not to improve the standard of living for the entire globe at our own expense. But liberals are convinced that is just a perfectly reasonable cost to achieve their noble goals of diversity. They believe in equality, in equity, that no country should have a better standard of living than another country. That's racist. That's elitist. That's unfair. So we have to reduce our quality of life to that of Senegal or Somalia, because then everybody will be equal. And if you don't believe in complete and total communist equality, well, that's because you're a Nazi, obviously. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button.
So
make
that
sure
was
you
the part
subscribe
of
to
the video I
channel
want
if
you
haven't.
guys to see, because it's mad crazy. But let's keep it moving because we got more to watch.
I hear the people are saying we're going to have an endless war here. You're not going to have an endless war. take some time, but it's not going to take years.
Iran has a lot of money and a lot of powerful friends that are particularly sophisticated when it comes to making war tech, like China and Russia. These are both countries that have provided Iran a number of sophisticated military platforms like hypersonic missiles. And that is why you are able to see all across your timeline on X, and some of it is slop or AI generated, you can see the hypersonic missiles striking their targets in active war zones. Now, we're still waiting on confirmation because this kind of stuff is, again, being incredibly censored all across the internet. What is truly happening across these open fronts in the Iran war. But we're still waiting on a confirmation that these extremely fast missile strikes are indeed hypersonic missiles. But what's really obvious is that this is a style of war that is getting so quick and so explosive and so dangerous that videos like this are, well, going to be the norm. You're going to see effectively no missile arrive at all at its destination, and suddenly everything is gone, right? And hypersonic, obviously, by definition, is something that is traveling beyond the speed of sound. And how are you going to defend against that? It's the thing that scares the hell out of every military planner is that, you know, if you can't hear or see the projectile, how are you going to stop it exactly? Right? John Kirikow, if Iran sinks an aircraft carrier, it would trigger World War III. There's no defense against hypersonic missiles. Iran
we're not
possesses
sure
them.
that we can defend against an Iranian supersonic missile. We've all studied the Gulf of Tonkin. We've all studied 9/11. We've all studied Pearl Harbor. If the Iranians actually do sink an aircraft carrier, you're right. It's World War III.
And how you would sink an aircraft carrier is you would send a hypersonic missile. And there's really not many defenses against this. So here we go. So Iran is using up old stocks of missiles to deplete military defense systems in Israel, and then they'll be showcasing their hypersonic missiles that travel at a speed of 12,000 miles per hour. Expect one of these to be
and they will get
towards
hit with
Tel Aviv
an atomic
soon.
weapon.
There's no stopping them.
They will get hit with an atomic
hypersonic
weapon,
missile targeting,
and that will put
Tel
an
Aviv.
end to it.
Again, a lot of unconfirmed reports, a lot of fake reports out there, but nonetheless, legitimate, serious concern. Maybe this is why just literally 1 month ago, the Department of War said we have laser weapons. Yes, we have directed energy weapons, and yes, we are scaling them.
I've
How do you
been
hit a
talking about
projectile
that
that's traveling that
about
fast?
nine-
Well, you hit it with a
9
laser that's
years
traveling
ago.
even faster. Directed energy dominance, said our own Department of War. Then they responded, is it able to direct energy at my bald head? I would like to grow hair. Maybe. I mean, you could definitely have that use. Now, has this laser weapon been used by Israel? Because the laser weapons exist, and, you know, we sell weapons to Israel. In fact, we've sold literal laser weapons to Israel. Iron Beam is what it's called.
I told you we sold it.
10,000 kilowatt system is designed to
I
defeat
told
a
you guys
variety of
this
threats, such
yesterday.
as rockets, artilleries, mortars, and drones to shoot them out of the sky and to, of course, engage in the predictive programming of The Simpsons that obviously showed that a laser weapon took out all of Springfield, burned everything to ashes, except for, of course, the giant blue structure in the middle of this town. I just a friendly reminder that this went viral during the Lahaina. This was, of course, when everything burned throughout Texas and throughout Hawaii that had a roof that wasn't blue. And then Joe Biden goes out, classic Joe Biden, and says, hey, if you have the right roof, our lasers won't burn your house.
You'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it.
Great job, Joe. Anyway, the point is that people speculated that there were lasers being fired from the sky, and that those lasers could burn down entire communities, and that those lasers are so powerful that you could make pretty much any nation defenseless. Then Trump gets into office, and his chief of science and technology says our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. Got it. That's what Alex Krasios said, as a matter of fact. Trump said that we have weapons that nobody even understands.
Let me tell you, it's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is.
We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is. Maybe it's lasers, obviously. The Maduro guards were put down by the discombobulator. This is a sonic weapon. President Trump, just a couple of weeks ago. We have weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. Weapons of warfare that nobody knows about. Those defense systems were made by Russia and China, so they're going back to the drawing board, I guess. Trump just straight up bragging that our weapons are superior to Russia and China's weapons. Donald Trump confirms the existence of sonic weapons. What about our laser weapons? Nobody else has it, says Trump. Okay. Well, now, in a historic moment, it seems like Israel is using on the battlefield for the first time the Iron Beam to intercept rockets. This would be the first battlefield use of a laser weapon. You can see it here in this video. Again, it's just one of those grainy videos shot from the ground. You can see what is a pretty bright burst of light that is sent up and is intercepting some type of ballistic in the air. The first time ever Israel has used the Iron Beam. Ambassador Mike Huckabee saying Hezbollah gives IDF an opportunity to successfully test their new Iron Beam technology. Been in a shelter twice in the last hour, grateful to Israeli innovation this morning. Israel's Iron Beam laser, what it can do, use against missiles. Okay, so this is real, no longer a conspiracy theory. Monday morning, a number of social media accounts circulated. They believe the example of lasers intercepting Hezbollah rockets. The video showed rockets being launched from Lebanon. Rocket appeared to explode soon after takeoff. The video did not show lasers intercepting rockets, but massive interest in the new technology is clear. Israel pioneered the deployment of ground-based laser defense systems, the development of laser military uses, taken place for decades. Israel and the U.S. and countries are working on the technology. However, recent advances in the technology has enabled lasers to finally become more practical military use. So there you go. This is sort of like what it looks like. All right. What this means is that lasers can now be developed that can be packaged into a relatively small mobile unit. The lasers can reach ranges of 10 kilometers. Lasers are inexpensive way to take down a missile interceptor. A missile interceptor costs a lot of money. No longer a conspiracy theory. Israel just used directed energy weapons. Israel used their high-powered laser weapon, the Iron Beam. Again, it's a good point. During Biden's first term, media worked relentlessly to fact-check that these weapon platforms didn't exist. And then out comes the Trump administration. You know, Leroy Jenkins, not only do they exist, we're like going to brag about them. Okay.
I talked about this for years. Oh my God.
Military tech, the end of expensive war. Israel deploys Iron Beam. Traditional interceptor costs $50,000 per shot. The laser costs $2 per shot. So is that what we're seeing here on the battlefield?
Easy weapon to take out any missiles.
Cool.
Any missiles.
I mean, no community note, right? No community note. It's kind of cool. Yes, reports from Israeli defense forces confirm the Iron Beam was used in combat for the first time overnight, intercepting a Hezbollah rocket towards Haifa. It first struck the first such attack since the 2024 ceasefire. A new layer alongside the dome, the video message, the footage of these laser intercepts. Well, there you go. Grok, is it true? We're going to see some crazy stuff in this war, man. We're going to see crazy stuff. Stay locked in. Stay very, very frosty and salty.
Yeah, because it's going to get very interesting. And it's just the beginning. Let's keep it moving.
A live picture in Tel Aviv, Israel, as new operations, new details on exactly what was struck. We saw over 1,000 targets struck as of yesterday, and that continues to increase. Let's take you out to this, a video posted by Central Command on social media about some of their operations. Let's listen in here on Live Now.
Afternoon, I'm Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of United States Central Command. In this capacity, I lead U.S. military forces in the Middle East. I'm here to provide you an update on Operation Epic Fury, now in our 4th day of execution. First, I'd like to express my deepest condolences to the families and teammates of the extraordinary Americans who've been killed in action. And I'd also like to extend our prayers for
Yeah, they're
safe
from the
recovery.
U.S. Army, man.
Yesterday, you heard from Secretary Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Today, I'd like to give you an operational update on where we are and provide you with some key facts. By order of the President of the United States and the Secretary of War, our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century. Having spent more than 36 years in the military, I could not be prouder of America's sons and daughters in uniform who are answering the call. More than 50,000 troops, 200 fighters, 2 aircraft carriers, and bombers from the United States are participating in this operation, and more capability is on the way. These forces bring a massive amount of firepower, representing the largest buildup by the U.S. in the Middle East in a generation. In the opening hours of Operation Epic Fury, U.S. Central Command forces, together with Israel, delivered overwhelming and unprecedented strikes into Iran. Many of you may remember the shock and awe strikes of 2003. The first 24 hours of this operation were nearly double the scale, and we continue with 24/7 strikes into Iran from seabed to space and cyberspace. Now, we're less than 100 hours into this operation, and we've already struck nearly 2,000 targets with more than 2,000 munitions. We have severely degraded Iran's air defenses and destroyed hundreds of Iran's ballistic missiles, launchers, and drones. And in simple terms, we're focused on shooting all the things that can shoot at us. Our B-2 bombers and B-1 bombers have executed uncontested surgical strikes against multiple missile facilities deep inside Iran. And then just last night, a B-52 bomber force struck ballistic missile and command and control posts. We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy. Thus far, we've destroyed 17 Iranian ships, including the most operational Iranian submarine that now has a hole in its side. For decades, the Iranian regime has harassed international shipping. Today, there's not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or Gulf of Oman, and we will not stop. We will continue to conduct dynamic targeting operations. We're hunting Iran's last remaining mobile ballistic missile launchers to eliminate what I would characterize as their lingering launch capability. Now, in retaliation, the Iranian regime has launched over 500 ballistic missiles and over 2,000 drones. To be clear, Iran is indiscriminately targeting civilians as they launch these missiles and drones. You've seen it on TV. The evidence is crystal clear and overwhelming. Having said this, we are seeing Iran's ability to hit us and our partners is declining, while our combat power, on the other hand, is building. And my overall operational assessment is that we are ahead of our game plan. Along the way, every single branch of our military is achieving unprecedented success. I'll talk about just a few of them. Our naval forces have deployed multiple waves of cruise missiles, obliterating Iranian command and control and air defense capabilities. From 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, we're squeezing Iran from the sea and have them backed into their own ports. U.S. air forces are doing what they do best, executing a high volume of airstrikes right into Iran. Operationally, the 2 most powerful air forces in the world, the U.S. and Israel, are dominating the skies of the world's largest state sponsor of terror. Our U.S. Army soldiers are defending ourselves and our partners, and in a historic first, the U.S. Army fired long-range precision strike missiles called PRISMs in combat, providing an unrivaled deep strike capability. Also, for the first time, U.S. Central Command's drone task force, called Task Force Scorpion Strike, launched countless one-way attack drones, achieving massive effects. I'd like to point out these drones were originally an Iranian design. We took them back to America, made them better, and fired them right back at Iran. I just could not be prouder of our men and women in uniform, leveraging innovation to create dilemmas for the enemy. There is no adversary too determined, no mission too difficult for the great soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen that make up the most powerful military the world has ever seen. Our military objectives are crystal clear, and our people are executing an immensely complex and historic mission with relentless lethality, conviction, and professionalism. And we've just begun. But I have the utmost confidence that we, alongside our partners, will absolutely achieve our military objectives. To all our warriors, Godspeed. Thanks so much.
All right. Let me bring it to me real quick. I was just reading here some news that came out, and this is in reference to some contaminated water. There's a contaminated with filth. There's 650,000 gallons of bottled water contaminated with filth, and has been recalled in 2 states. I'll let you know which of those 2 states are in a moment. Before I say that, let me read out here. And this is the Valley Springs Artisan Gold LLC recalled nearly 650,000 gallons of bottled water due to packaging under unsanitary conditions. So they packaged these bottles in unsanitary conditions, meaning the place was filthy. Okay. The affected products were distributed throughout Illinois and Wisconsin. So for people that watch, maybe one, I have one that I know from Wisconsin, and I have a few from Illinois. Pay attention. Numerous bottled water products were affected by this recall, and consume may cause illness. A Class 2 recall has been issued for over 650,000 gallons of bottled water issued by Valley Springs Artisan Gold LLC. The recall declared that the water was bottled under unsanitary conditions, meaning that the affected product may have been contaminated with filth or were about it may have been rendered injurious to health. Injurious. I never heard of that before, but unfortunately, the affected product were not distributed nationwide. Thank God, but only 2 states did receive this product, and they were sold only in Illinois and Wisconsin. So the affected products include 1 gallon bottle of Valley Springs 100% natural bottled water, and 2.5 gallon bottles of the Valley Spring 100% natural bottled water, 1 gallon bottle of Valley Springs infant water, 1 gallon bottles of Valley Springs Daisy's doggy water, 1 gallon bottle of Valley Springs 100% natural bottled water, fluoride added, and the last one, 1 gallon bottle of Valley Springs steamed distilled water. If you have any of these products, please take them back to the place of purchase to get a refund, or just toss them out, drain them out, put them through your toilet, because it's just as good as your toilet water. Just be careful out there. Times are crazy, and these businesses are doing crazy shit, shady shit to sell their products. Okay, so I just wanted to let you guys know that because it came across my feed line, and I thought it was very important to at least pass it along to you guys. All right, let's continue back on the news.
Learning new information about the 6 individuals, or 4 of these 6, that paid the ultimate sacrifice as 6 U.S. service members died following and in support of Operation Epic Fury. We're learning their identities tonight, and I want to put up some of these here on Live Now from Fox as we continue on, including Captain Cody Cork of Lakeland, Florida. Also, we are following First Class captain of Sergeant First Class Nicole Moore of White Bear Lake, Minnesota, also a Sergeant First Class. There, Noah Tejans of Bellevue, Nebraska, and Sergeant Declan Cody of Des Moines, Iowa. They were deployed out of Iowa as these now 4 of the 6 individuals identified following that incident in Kuwait. And then you can just see here again, a 35, 42, 39, and 20-year-old losing their lives. And on social media, Major General saying to the families and teammates of those in the Cactus Nation soldiers, you have my deepest sympathy and respect. Our nation is kept safe by folks like these brave men and women who put it all on the line every single day. They represent the heart of America. We will remember their names, their service, and their sacrifice.
Yeah, poor man. They men and women of the U.S. Army is grieving today for their loss. It's sad, but we got to keep moving.
I want to get your reaction to the media's coverage, including this meltdown from this genius, Rachel Maddow, on MS Now.
Today that the Iranian police and the security forces and the Revolutionary Guard must surrender. They must lay down their weapons, as Donald Trump said this morning at 2:30. If that was what you wanted to happen, because you wanted the domestic security situation to become less dangerous for the Iranian people to rise up and overthrow their government. If you actually wanted to make that happen, instead of just saying it, you as the U.S. government, maybe you as the U.S. government in coalition with other allies that you might have bothered to bring on board, you might have given the Iranian police and Revolutionary Guard and security services some instructions on how to surrender and lay down their weapons. Some path to do that, which Trump did not.
Michael, I mean, what an assessment. If only Trump had given the IRGC some instructions.
Who wants to give him some
He should have
instructions?
published a manual and gone there personally and handed it out to all.
Yeah, Rachel should have went out there.
I mean, what is
gave
that
out
the quality of the analysis coming out of some of the American
out a
media?
forum.
It is appalling. And
That's a
if you look at a
pamphlet.
lot of the commentary from the
You're
left-wing
right.
Western media, embarrassing.
No,
I mean,
you're
this
right.
concentration, we've had 6
No, you're
Americans killed,
constitutional
we've
right.
had 10 Israelis killed, we've had, 500 Iranians killed and 30 people in Lebanon. Gabriella, there's 1,000 young people killed a day in the Ukraine-Russian war, 1,000. But because it's America and because it's Israel, there's this obsession with, oh no, an American's been killed. Yes, of course, Americans will be killed. Israelis will be killed. If this is a war, Iranians will be killed. It's a fight to the death. This whole notion that you can have these bruise-free conflicts. I mean, Trump has actually set the bar so high with Midnight Hammer, rest of Maduro in Venezuela, that everyone thinks, oh, these wars are over in 5 seconds. I mean, the Ukraine war's been going 4 years. Second World War lasted 6 years. I mean, what are these people thinking? And for really, Rachel Maddow, I mean, I don't know how she's still on air. I don't know how people watch her show. It is, the quality of the analysis is appalling. And to think that she is the leading commentator or one of the leading commentators amongst the left in America, boy, America's in trouble.
It certainly is. It really is in trouble. And, you know, we're just 3 days in to this operation and you already hear so much hysteria that this war will be never ending. I mean, the commentary is out of control. The Democrats as well. I mean, some of them seem to be really upset that the Iranian people are on the verge of liberation. Here's Kamala Harris's take.
Bottom line, when it comes down to it, is that if we want to stop Donald Trump with this random decision that he has arrived at, then Congress must act, and Congress must act immediately.
Congress can't do shit.
Yeah, Michael, Kamala Harris also
Well,
put out a statement
Congress.
saying,
Congress
I
is not
know
the
the
president of
threat
the
that
United
Iran
States.
poses and they must never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, but this is not the way to dismantle that threat. I mean, Michael, does she have any idea?
She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about.
She was vice president for 4 years, right? Vice president 4 years.
She
I
did
don't
shit.
think anyone should be taking her advice. She sat there for 4 years under a president who was clearly, mentally not capable of running the
And
country.
did nothing.
She said nothing. She said nothing
Exactly.
for 4 years. She was complicit in the cover-up. And look what's happened in the world since Trump has taken over. You've had the hostages released from Gaza. There is a peace of sorts taking place in Gaza. You've had Venezuelan leader arrested. You've had the drug trade, fentanyl trade to America slowed. You've had Colombia come to heel in terms of their drug production. You've had the leader of one of the cartels drug cartels killed in Mexico, etc., etc., etc. And you get Kamala Harris, who you wouldn't employ in a low-level law firm, out there giving us her views of the world. She's a disaster. The Democratic Party, one of their problems is the quality of people in the Democratic Party is so bad. Ilhan Omar, Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris. I mean, where are the Clintons and the Obamas from a bygone era, the Kennedys? This is the problem with the Democratic Party. They're run by absolute C graders, and you compare them to Trump, Vance, and Rubio. Well, thank goodness it's in good hands.
Look, I really like what Konstantin Kisin had to say. He said the arguments about Iran are so polarized that no one wants to admit that several things are true at once. You'd be a fool to not have serious reservations about the idea of a regime change war, especially in the Middle East. You'd also be a fool to allow terrorists funding lunatics to develop nuclear weapons. And he goes on, but he also says a point that you made, Michael, really, that so far the Trump administration's interventions have been extraordinarily successful in achieving valid objectives within a highly limited scope. The strikes on Iran during the 12-day war achieved destruction of several nuclear facilities. The Venezuela operation decapitated the hostile regime and replaced Maduro with a non-hostile leader. Both also achieved significant don't F with us deterrence globally. And he says that, look, this seems to be the biggest risk that Donald Trump has taken at any time in his first or second term. If it pays off, the reward both domestically and globally will be huge. If it doesn't, and things go south, it could derail his presidency and define his legacy like Iraq did for Blair and Bush. Can I get your thoughts on that? You know, will this risk pay off? I suppose that's the big question. And also your thoughts on this plan for regime change, how successful it could be. And of course, no one knows the answer to this, how long this could go on for.
Well, it's, the Western media and the left and the Democrats, you go back to World War II, by 1941, they'd be saying, how long is this campaign having to go to get rid of Hitler? We're tiring of this war. We've got to stop this fight against Hitler. It's been going on for too long. Too many Britons and Americans and Europeans have been killed. I mean, wars take as long as they take. I mean, because Minot Hammer took 27 minutes to largely destroy the Iranian nuclear facility, because Trump was so successful, people think these things are over in half an hour.
Yeah.
Trump has done the right thing. On one day, he says it might take 3 to 4 days. The next day, he says it might take 4 to 5 weeks. One day, he says, it implies there should be regime change. The next day, he says it's up to the Iranian people. He deliberately confuses people. And this is what the left have got to understand. He's not going to be out there telling Congress a week before the bombing, it's going to start on Saturday at this time. And I mean, this guy plays, as they say, 4D chess. He keeps it confused. I'll tell you exactly what his objectives are, is to bomb the daylights out of the Iranian military, Navy and Air Force. He wants to bring about regime change. Of course he does. Of course that's the ultimate objective. He doesn't necessarily want to say that in black and white terms because of all the reasons we know. But that's the objective here, and so it should be. And the world will be a much, much better place if we don't have the Iranian government at the head of the international terrorist left, and that's what they are. We know they fund the proxies. They know they fund terrorism all around the world. They started a war with their own allies, the Gulf states. I mean, they've handled this very badly so far, the Iranians. So you would expect there to be regime change. It might take a week, it might take 6 weeks, it might take 6 months. But that's the objective of the Americans, and it will be successful in due course because the world can't tolerate being at war with Iran. And for those MAGA people and that clown Tucker Carlson who sort of say, Trump said he wouldn't start wars. He's not starting a war. He's finishing one.
Correct.
This war's been going against Iran. It's been going for 4 decades.
Yeah.
Right? They've been saying death to America, death to Israel, death to Britain for 40 years almost. So he's not starting anything. He's ending a war that Iran has had deliberately, actively, subversively for 4 decades. That's what President Trump is doing, Gab.
And what's the US's next objective? Of course, we've seen the action taken in Venezuela. We're now seeing this action being taken out in Iran. What's next? Is Cuba next?
Well, Cuba's next. Yeah, Cuba will fall. And, you know, you go back to Iran for 1 second. There's 90 million people who've been held hostage by this group of Islamic terrorists for almost 40 years. You know, by an accident of birth, we're lucky enough not to have been born in or have to live in Iran. But those poor bastards for 4 decades have lived under this brutal regime. Fast forward to Cuba. Since the Castro family took over, the poor Cubans have lived under this persecution by this communist regime. And it's going to be liberated. It's going to be liberated by the Americans by Christmas time. It'll fall. And again, the world will be a much safer place. If you've got rid of the Venezuelan government, the Cuban government, and the Iranian government, well, I mean, what a wonderful achievement that will be for Trump. And as far as Venezuela is concerned, no, he hasn't got rid of the regime, but you can bet your bottom dollar there will be elections in Venezuela within 2 years, and that Venezuelan government will be swept from office. And they'll have a pro-American democratic government in Venezuela thereafter forever, which is what they're going to have in Cuba. And in the next few months, that's what they're going to have in Iran.
Yeah, well, Senator Lindsey Graham said just yesterday that the US strikes in Iran, speaking about the US strikes in Iran, I should say, he said that Cuba is next. They are going to follow this communist dictatorship in Cuba and their days are numbered. Michael Kroger, thank you so much for your time, former president of the Victorian Liberal Party and Sky News contributor.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep it moving.
He's been terrific. Others have been very good, terrific. I think that the head of NATO, Mark, is fantastic. Okay, Mark Rutte. I think he's fantastic. But some of the European, like Spain, has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all, it started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases. And that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it. But we don't have to. But they were unfriendly. And so I told him, we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. That island that you read about, the lease, okay, he made it for whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. So we're going to stop trade with Spain. Not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
Mr. President, what's your expectations towards Germany? What can Germany do and what should Germany do to help you in this problem?
Well, I think they're doing it. I mean, they're letting us land in certain areas, and that's, we appreciate it. And they're just making it comfortable. We're not asking them to put boots on the ground or anything. I mean, we're just, they're a respected country. I have a very good relationship with the country. We have, in particular now, with this leader, with this new leader. I think he's an excellent leader. I had my differences with Angela. I said, you're hurting your country with immigration and you're hurting your country with energy. And we have a man sitting on my right that is, I think, pretty much the opposite of her on energy and the opposite on immigration. And I think he's doing very well.
Commercial air travel right now is severely restricted in the Middle East, and thousands of Americans are stranded. Why wasn't there an evacuation plan, and will you send planes to get people out?
Well, because it happened all very quickly. We thought, and I thought maybe more so than most, I could ask Marco, but I thought we were going to have a situation where we were going to be attacked. They were getting ready to attack Israel. They were getting ready to attack others. You're seeing that right now. And a lot of those missiles that are hitting in, those are stationary. Those were aimed there for a long period of time at these other countries. So I think I was right about that. We attacked first. And if we didn't, it could have been, look, we're really decimating them. They're being decimated. And if we didn't, and by the way, we have massive amounts of ammunition. We have the high end. A lot of it was given away stupidly by Biden, very stupidly, for free. And I'm all for Ukraine, but they gave away a lot. As you know, when I give away ammunition, everybody pays for it. The European Union's paying for it. Then they can do what they want with it, but they are giving it, let's say, to Ukraine, and it's okay. But we gave away a lot of high end, but we have plenty. But we have unlimited middle and upper ammunition, which is really what we're using in this war. And we have really an unlimited supply. We also have a lot of the very high end stored in different countries throughout the world. We're literally storing it there, which is actually something that I insisted on in my first term. I rebuilt the military in my first term. The military is great. Unbelievable amount of ammunition or munitions, as they say, we've given away to, the Wall Street Journal incorrectly covered the story when they said that it was given away to the Middle East. Not to the Middle East, it was given away to Ukraine. Very little was given to the Middle East. Middle East would buy a lot, and some of the nations, because they're rich, they have a lot, but it was given away to Ukraine. And it just should have been done. Look, it's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, that war would have never happened. But we have a tremendous amount of munitions, ammunition at the upper level, middle and upper level, all of which is really powerful stuff.
Wow. All right, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, elsewhere, Jono, and while the United States has carried out these strikes alongside Israel, Donald Trump, he's been scathing of some of his European allies. Real diplomatic stoush that has erupted today.
He has. The president sitting alongside the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz inside the Oval Office today really took aim at a couple of American allies. Spain first, claiming that they were terrible. They wouldn't allow the United States to use their bases. And then going straight after the United Kingdom and British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, pointedly over Britain's refusal to engage in the first wave of strikes with the United States and Israel. We have seen since the UK Prime Minister issuing a statement saying that they will enter this defensively, today saying that they will be sending helicopters and a major warship, the HMS Dragon, into the region around Cyprus. Now, that is a significant move from Britain as it seeks to step up its presence to protect its own assets. That is what it said it would do. But President Trump was furious with Britain earlier today. This is some of what he said.
By the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. For whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
And now as this conflict escalates beyond Iran's borders, we've seen Iran striking in and around the Gulf states, a move that President Trump says surprising. We've also seen now the British government sending in warships and helicopters into the region, and now France too. We've heard from French President Emmanuel Macron, who says he will be sending in the Charles de Gaulle. That is a major piece of the French military hardware in and around this region. Once again, from a defensive perspective, trying to protect French assets in the region. This is some of what the French president had to say in a televised address to his people.
Samedi dernier, la guerre s'empare une nouvelle fois.
Since last Saturday, war has once again engulfed the Near and Middle East. Triggered by strikes launched by the United States and Israel against Iran, it is now spreading throughout the region and having grave consequences for peace and security for all. The Islamic Republic of Iran bears primary responsibility for this situation. Faced with this unstable situation and with the uncertainties of the coming days, I've ordered that the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, its air assets and its frigate escort set course for the Mediterranean.
Interesting to hear French President Emmanuel Macron there talk about the worrying times in the days ahead. We also heard the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz say to President Trump today he wanted to see this war wrapped up quickly, as soon as is possible. Donald Trump has put a timeline on it of 4 to 5 weeks, but obviously says he's prepared to go longer if indeed necessary. But as we heard the Secretary of State Marco Rubio say just a short time ago, Iran hasn't even seen the biggest show yet. So there is still plenty more to come, and this right now a worrying time.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving.
The other thing was Barack Hussein Obama made maybe the worst deal I've ever seen, because he gave all power in the Middle East to Iran. He went the exact opposite way, and I terminated that. If I didn't terminate that deal, they would be sitting with a massive nuclear weapon 3 years ago, which would have been used already on Israel at least, and other countries also. And we wouldn't be talking about it right now. But if I didn't terminate the deal that Obama made, giving them everything, including plane loads of cash. Do you remember the airplane flew over there? It was a Boeing 757. It was 2 of them, loaded. They took out all the seats. It was loaded with green cash. So much cash that it was in Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. They got all the cash from all the banks. They put it, and they flew it to Iran.
What?
I never knew a president had that power. I'm going to maybe try it sometime if it's okay. I think I'm going to do it. I'll fly it somewhere. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. 2 planes loaded from floor to ceiling. Big planes, Boeing 757s.
Wow.
Taken over there and given cash. In addition to that, he was giving them billions of dollars. But worse, he was giving them the right to have the path to a nuclear weapon. And that deal expired. A lot of people said, oh, you terminated. Well, it was going to be terminated anyway because it expired. It gave them the right to have top of the line nuclear weapon. If they had, because they're crazy. Just like the people on my right during the State of the Union. I looked at them, I said, you're crazy? These people are crazy. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. All right, how about 1 or 2 more?
Mr. President.
Go ahead, please.
Jacques Lambert said, you just heard that the president is thinking about punishing Spain. What are your thoughts spontaneously on this, and what can you do to
Well, the answer on that is quite simple. We are trying to convince Spain to catch up with the 3% or 3.5%, which we agreed on in NATO. And as the president said, it's correct. Spain is the only one who is not willing to accept that. And we are trying to convince them that this is a part of our common security, that we all have to comply with this numbers. And this is 3.5 for military and another 1.5 for our military infrastructure. So Spain has to comply with that.
Spain has been very, very uncooperative. And so has UK. Now, the second one is shocking, but this is not the age of Churchill. I will say the UK has been very, very uncooperative with that stupid island that they have, that they gave away and took a 100-year lease, having to do with perhaps indigenous people claiming the island that never even saw the island before. What's that all about? And they ruin relationships. It's a shame. It's and that country, UK, and I love that country. I love it. My mother was born there. I love it. My mother was born there. My father was born. Right? He knows all about my father. My father was born there. So, places that you sort of automatically very, very feel warmly about. But the UK, what they're doing with energy and what they're doing with immigration is horrible. You have the North Sea. Somebody said yesterday, what would you do if you were the UK? Open up the North Sea. They got windmills all over the place that are ruining the country, ruining the landscapes, ruining the beautiful fields. Open up the North Sea. It's one of the greatest. Think of it. They buy their energy from Norway, which gets the energy, the oil, from the North Sea. So Norway drills in the North Sea and sells it to UK. And UK has a better part of the North Sea. Open up that. And number two, illegal immigration. They got to solve that problem. And I must say, that's not only UK, that's other parts of the European Union that have the same problem. Immigration and energy. The energy is through the roof, the highest in the world. And the immigration is, I mean, you know, look, you have places where in the UK, you have a terrible mayor of London, terrible. He's an incompetent guy. But you have Sharia courts. You don't have Sharia courts. You don't want Sharia courts. You have Sharia courts adjudicating law. So it's very simple. Immigration, very importantly, immigration and energy. And you bring it back. Otherwise, you're not going to bring it back.
Yeah. Just to... Man, that man works so hard. Freaking Trump is nonstop. That man, like, when does he ever sleep? Like, how does he get this much energy? Like, I am fucking tired. Like majority of my day, I'm fucking tired as fuck because I see my doctors and I go to the chiropractor and I do my physical therapy. And fuck, man, this motherfucker's like the Energizer Bunny. That motherfucker don't stop. He's all over the place and he's on fire. It's like literally, I feel like I was watching like NBA jams. Remember the old school NBA jams? And they're like, they jump like they're like really cool. It was like the big head, like basketball players, and you could play like 2-on-2. I remember that when I was younger. I was about 13 years old, and I was helping out at a card shop, trading card shop that ended up being like like a little worker there, organizing the comic books and putting out on display like certain things. And we had the cards, like the packs of cards, all different types, from football, baseball, hockey. We had like a whole bunch of just cards, and people would come through and purchase, and they'll ask me, what you think. I'm like, I mean, at that time, I would point them out to the tops. And also for baseball, I would point them out to the flares, which are like really glossy baseball cards, but they're really expensive. And at that time, I think they were like $10 to $15 a pack compared to the prices today for like Pokemon and all the craziness that is going on in the Poke world. Yeah, I have my cards. I gotta bring them out so I can show you guys. It's like I have my flare. It's those are the 90, I believe the 91, 92 or 92, 93 is one of those years. It's in the lower 90s, but it was a beautiful, like, glossy cards and really nice. And I started a binder. I wanted to master set it. Now I'm nowhere complete on it, but I'm sure. How would I complete that set? Do they even have that? Those boxes, because we're talking about that's in the 90s. So, the price may be pretty high on it. Never bothered to check because I know it'll be a nightmare. Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like, yeah, it would be a nightmare. But I gotta see what I'm gonna, because I'm continuing with the Pokemon, because I'm gonna talk for a little bit and then we'll watch the rest, because I do got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more videos. So, and they're good. They're good. Let me see if there's any add-ons. You always got to check for add-ons, because news always breaking. So things and people, always got to check everything out. That's a weird. No, I mean, I don't see anything crazy. But yeah, so let me see. I kind of like want to watch this one. Just because of the wording. This is, if America does this, Iran will be neutered completely, says retired admiral. I want to see it. I want to see this one. Hold on. Let me set it up. But I hope everyone's having a good night. I hope everyone's safe at home. If you're not home, I hope you're still safe. And keep vigilant. Keep pay attention. There's a lot of weird shit going on right now. You don't want to get caught up with any shit. You know what I mean? It gives me second thoughts because I really want to go to Niagara Falls, but it really gives me second thoughts in going there because these fucking people are always there. Like not only Iranians, but like people are they look very terroristic. If you know what I mean, they look very terroristic, and it is pretty scary for damn sure. But let's check out this story right here.
He's the former deputy commander of U.S. Central Command. He led operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, served as a Navy SEAL with combat experience all over the Middle East. Admiral Harward grew up in Iran, went to school in Tehran, and is a member of the Iran Policy Project at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America. Well, thank you, sir, for all of that incredible service to the country. And I'm wondering what goes through your mind, knowing this region as well as you do, when you listen to the pushback here about timing and who pushed who and why this is the right moment.
Look, that's all in the rearview mirror. We've made the decision, we're executing. So what's important now, I think, is exactly what Secretary Rubio and before him, Senator Graham said, is the missiles, the missiles. If that stops,
no, there's a whole bunch of drones there. Yeah, they only took out one. They should have taken out the other two. Those on the left.
Strike an airfield. If you cannot strike,
look at all the drones there.
They're neutered. So the number one objective, I think, the president has alluded to.
They need to put more missiles onto those drones. They left two there.
So this next big wave, I'm sure,
you know what I mean?
Going to try to just annihilate.
Yeah, that looks like a half-assed job to me.
Their missiles. Now I would add,
now you need to spray that ground. Now you got to spray that whole ground. You can't just throw one missile.
Calm some people down.
What happened to the other three drones? Look, there's 4 drones there.
So
they hit one.
Second death, but if you want,
that's only one drone. Like there's 3 there, right? They hit one. So there's other 2. I would have hit the fucking 2 first.
The way that Iran's regime is approaching this, they're attacking the Gulf states. They just hit. It was unsuccessful.
If you're gonna do something and take those drones out, you cluster bomb it.
In Dubai,
you don't just shoot a missile at it. No, you cluster bomb it. Boom, 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 boom. Like it's a whole line. And it'll just it's all explosives. It'll destroy that whole all those drones. But they're using missiles, so I don't know who's in charge.
That means getting Trump out of the picture.
I'm not in the military anymore. I'm not in the military.
To survive President Trump. And I think we're already past that
point.
So this is the last gasp effort.
UK is cooked. Yeah, they're fucked.
Issue of the missiles. We have all the time to do anything.
Yeah, they are. They've been, Fuck, that's why they're scared. Like the Sturmer is scared.
And we can take our time to do whatever we want to do.
Admiral Harward, thank you very much. You're a great guest. It's great to have you with us. Hope to speak to you again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
All right, Hannity, we're going to keep it moving. We got more to watch.
Take aim at what is left of Iran's leadership after taking out the Ayatollah. Israel's officials tell Fox that they bombed a meeting of the Supreme Security Council. that were gathering. It was gathering to count votes to choose a new supreme leader, and another large-scale attack, we believe, happened there. They're still doing the battle damage assessment, but they believe that the strike killed multiple Iranian officials. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yanks reports live from Tel Aviv. Hi, Trey.
Hey, Martha, good afternoon. The Israelis say they struck Iran's Supreme Council, where there were officials counting votes for who was going to be the next Ayatollah of Iran. We understand there were multiple fatalities in those strikes, possibly even including the council's secretary. The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but Israel says they will continue strikes against Tehran and across the country of Iran. The Iranians responding today with many missile strikes against Israel. One of those strikes was a cluster munition that exploded over Tel Aviv, Israel's second largest city. At one of the scenes in a community called Bnei Brak, there were thousands of people in the streets, families celebrating the Jewish holiday of Purim. We arrived there after the attack. Israeli officials say the Iranian regime launched ballistic missiles at Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv, one of them with a cluster munition on top, causing a significant amount of damage to this community of Bnei Brak, a religious area just outside of Israel's second largest city. If you look off here, there are children in costumes because it is the holiday of Purim, one of the most joyful holidays in Judaism, commemorating the events described in the book of Esther, where the Jews of ancient Persia defeated a plot to destroy them. But again, as the Iranians are continuing these attacks against major Israeli population centers, officials say it's a miracle that only 7 people were injured in this attack, just given how violent and deadly these Iranian missiles can be. Tonight, the Israeli military is preparing for the possibility of more incoming Iranian ballistic missile fire. Martha?
All right, Trey, thank you very much. I was supposed.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on.
Let's go ahead and keep it moving. Next one. I don't know what this is about. Oh, the Aussie. Okay, I want you guys to see this. Hold on. Let me bring it back to me. Who remember? I don't know. Did you ever watch the Osmond Show? Let me know in the chat. I know Terry probably seen it. Let me see the chat real quick. My eyes are like fucked. You constantly running errands and I'm burnt out as hell. Yeah, you're burnt the hell out. Yeah, I yeah, it happens. I did a lot of errands today too, and I felt burnt. I felt tired. I'm about to get off here soon though. No parking lot. It's a sheet of ice. Damn. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, and overnight it's gonna get cold and it's gonna freeze. So that shit tomorrow is the continuation of the Winter Olympics. And if you're living in Connecticut, northern Connecticut, especially on the northwest side, yeah, don't try to go out there thinking that you're Nancy Kerrigan. No. Be careful. It sucks. If you don't have ice, like salt, you fucked. Because it's really icy. Here we got snow, and then we got the ice, and that ice was a good amount of ice. And good thing I went out there and I cleaned out the car because it's like I didn't want it to get stuck because that's when it starts getting hard. And if you leave it like that, like let's say you left it like that throughout the day, that thing turns into ice, and then you have to chisel your fucking car, especially the windshields. You will have to chisel them because you're too lazy to go out there and clean it off. Because it was starting to get hard. I was like, oh, thank God I got there on time. I was just like, and I got it off quick. But if a lot of cars didn't do that, they're probably frozen. They'll freeze tonight, and then it'll be harder for them. They'll have to like chisel it out, and that sucks. But remember Kelly Osbourne? Let me see. Do you remember Ozzy Osbourne? You know, the one that just passed away. Good music, you know, weird as fuck, but he was funny. He was very funny. especially when he used to curse. He was so funny. Remember his daughter, like in the show? Well, in the show, she was a little chubby girl. She was a little chubby girl. Okay, you watched the Osbournes. Okay, thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. So we could talk about it. I remember Kelly was little chunky, you know, little chunky monkey, but she was a kid. She was still young. She's still developing, you know, but she looked good. She looked healthy though. You know, she didn't look bad or anything like that. I used to hate when she used to get her her emotional mood swings. It was usually when she got her period, and it was like, and then I remember the mom telling Ozzy, "Yeah, she got her period." And he's like, "Oh." He gets scared, and he gives her money. Tries to gives her money. He's like, here's money. It's like she's going on a trip. She's going to New York, and he's like, "Do you have money? Wait a minute, don't leave yet. Let me." And he goes to the safe, and then he takes out like a whole lot of money, and then he comes out with it. He's like, I think this is enough, and you have to take it. And she's like, "No, I don't need the money. I don't want it. I'm okay." Like, "No, you take the fucking money," like literally. And she would have to take it. But and it was a lot of cash too. It was like, what the fuck? Just like, I'm only going there for a day. Well, just in case you see something, you know. That was very nice of him. You know, he did treat his kids well, and his wife, he did her dirty, but you know, he got back online. You know, a lot of drugs. That's, you know, drugs does a body like that. Not good, but funny. um, but remember Kelly? Remember Shannon? Shannon, like she she looked good back then. She looked so healthy. Oh, I used to love her. And then she got very skinny. Very scary skinny. But Kelly really scares me. Shannon! Yeah. And Jack was chunky too. Yep. He was a chunky boy. And now they're like really slim, like real slim and real skinny. And but Kelly, what's wrong with her? And the reason why we're talking like this right now, for people who are wondering, damn, why the fuck they keep talking about the Osbournes, is because the next segment, we're going to watch something. And I want you guys to be the judge. Okay? Y'all be the judge. And then we're going to talk about this. Yeah, but I'm on Ozempic. I have to take Ozempic for my diabetes. I take it for my diabetes. So I have to be on Ozempic. But you don't see me fucking skinny like that. I'm not fucking like, I've been on it for years. I've been on it for, God, like I could count. I've been on it for a good year and almost 2 years, and it controls my A1C. But it helps also lose weight, I guess, right? But I told my doctor when I saw her, I was like, I have not come down like that. And I'm not walking as much because my knee is fucked up. So I'm not walking on ice. I'm not walking on no snow. You know, I'll go to Target or I go to Walmart, walk around, you know, check, see if I can find the Pokemon. Always on the hunt for Pokemon. But guess what? This is my show, so I'm going to talk about myself and what I'm doing. Well, next month we're gonna start a new shorts. You're gonna guess what's in my shorts? Listen, what's in my shorts is gonna change. It's gonna help me gain subscribers. I would like Pokemon, like individuals, like the smart ones, to subscribe and then interact with me here and talk politics and talk about anything that they want. I don't care if it's politics or not. Shit, I'm a psychic. I'd rather do psychic work. That's even more fun. I could stop doing the news and just stay here all night by myself, not doing anything, and just talk. And then I'll get a victim to come up. Oh no, a volunteer. And then they come, and then I do their psychic reading. If you go back and see what I used to do, I was very fucking good. I'm very fucking good. I'm good. I just hear things, the energy. It's like picking up, like intercepting the energy and just relaying it. I'm tapped into the ether. I hear things all the time. Tyson's like, how the fuck you do that? Tyson was like, yo, you would have heard that phone call. He was like, holy shit. Yo, you need to focus on that. You need to do that on your show. Can you, like, you know, to do my psychic stuff? And like I told Tyson, I would love to do it. But I like that takes a lot of my energy. It takes so much out of me. And it's like I get so weak and tired, and I'm just like I fall out. You know, it happened to me. My last, I fell on my show. I was on my show. I was doing a show. The energy I felt like I was so drained that I fell over live on my show. I fell over like timber, face planet, boom, right there on the floor. And hit my head. Took me a while. Like I thought I was dying, but then I was like, I started focusing on deep breaths. So I started like deep breaths to get the oxygen inside of me. And it worked. And I was able to like, okay, let me gather myself. I was down for a good, I don't know how long, maybe a minute or two. Then I get up, and then I was like, I'm like, I gotta go. You know, I'm not feeling good. This and that, and then that's it. And I like right when I like stopped the show, like stopped the stream, I passed out, and I hit my head on the table and my knee on the floor. Fucked myself up. That shit hurt. To pass out like that. I hate when like that shit happens. It happened to me twice. So, and it was recent. So I'm that like caution. You have to put caution on me. Like I do like pass out and shit. It's like I don't know, it just happens. It just happens. But that trying to figure shit out, you know? Life is, it throws you fucking wrenches and you gotta fucking tying up the boat, you know? You gotta put it to good use, you know? It throws you a monkey wrench, you gotta get that monkey wrench and just tighten that bitch up. Get your shit straight, you know? Get your priorities straight. Life is short, life is not forever. I will die, you know? I know this. I will die. Like, I'm fighting to stay here because I want to see what happens. You know, it's like that fucking series that, like, let's say, like, the Bridgerton, like, those motherfuckers, they do the shows and then they're like, oh, you got to wait, like, 2 months until you see the other part of the season. And then they tell you, oh, you got to, the next season, well, the next thing is going to be in, like, 28, like 2028 or something like that. It's like, bitch, what happened 2027? Like, I don't know, man. But I just want to see everything. I want to see it now. Like, I don't want to procrastinate. Like, the world is doing what it's doing. People are aligning. This, it kind of reminds me of a world war, because you have others that are, and I think this is what Iran wants, because Iran thinks that China and Russia is going to come to the defense and try to back them up. That's what they think. I'm telling you right now, Russia's like, Putin's like, they didn't even have to talk. He'd be like, and then the Chinese are like, like inside they're like, fuck, yeah. US is very advanced, man. Very advanced. I wonder how they got there, right? It's not alien technology, right? Okay. It's always been alien technology. Ever since the when they crash landed near Area 51, a lot of information was grabbed and it was and there's not only one like spacecraft, they got a whole bunch, and they like back engineered it and was able to learn a lot of things. And that's how CERN was developed. That's like how the internet came to life, which is how the communications, that came from CERN. And they pushed all this information to us, and now our younglings are so hooked on phones that their brain matter is being affected by it. And we got to be careful with exposing kids too early to technology. I know my niece has been affected by this because she watches shows on the phone and on the TV and stuff like that, and not my control, not my hand, not in my hands. That's out of my hands. But I didn't grow up like that. I grew up black and white. I grew up like very, very in apartment. It was like a 4-story. It was a 2-story apartment, like 4 apartments in total. And I lived in 3 of the 4. I never lived on the top, facing the street. We're in the bottom, the back, and above. But we started first. I think it was first we started at the ground level, then we moved up to the top, and then from the top we went to the bottom. And there was a lot of scorpions. There were a lot of fucking scorpions. This was in South Florida. So there was this one year, there was like scorpions. They were like, and I was like, I knew they weren't good because I was like, I look at them and I'm like, yeah, he doesn't seem friendly. Like, he like a fucking little, like, with the claws and shit. Like, I told my mom got the broom and like, boom, hit him like out the door. And that's the reason why we moved up to the 2nd floor. Because of fucking scorpions. But yeah, try to remember your youth days, That's good practice. Like for everyone who listens and rewatches. Practice going back to as young as you can remember, and then try to remember things around that time frame that you used to do. it really helps your mind open up more when you can go and relive, like, within your mind, within your thoughts. It's it expands your mind, and it's like it opens your mind up to things that you didn't notice back then, and you'll notice now as an adult. My mind always goes back to my childhood, and I remember everything. Like, even when they were changing my pamper, I remember everything. And then my mom was like, "How the hell?" It's like, why not? Like, why not? But yeah, live on the third floor growing up. Scorpions, just like spiders. Yeah, they are, and like, I knew they were dangerous because they had like that curl to their tail. It's like, that shit don't look friendly. I told my mom, and my mom was like, she started screaming, and she got the broom, and then she like shoot them out. But all right, so we were talking earlier about the Osbournes, right? And we were talking about Kelly and how Kelly was a little chunky girl, and the boy too. He was chunky, and Sharon was, she wasn't like slim, but she was nice, Jack was a chubby boy. He was chubby, and the mom was a little, she was okay, but she wasn't like skinny like that. No, she was like, like a normal, you know. But these people, I don't know what happened to them. They just like self-discovered a special serum within Ozempic or something, and they really, they got so sucked in. Remember the part? I don't know if you guys ever seen Beetlejuice, the second part, and where the lady, the lady deaf, she comes up and then she kisses you and then sucks the life out of you. Well, they're at the point where their life is being sucked out of them, and it's very disturbing. And we're gonna check this out. We are going to check this video out, and then you guys are gonna give me your opinion. Okay, I want your honest opinion. And for those who are rewatching, you can let me know in the comments, what is your honest opinion about this story. Here we go.
The crowd went silent when Ozzy Osbourne's family took the stage, and the emotion hit instantly. At the Brit Awards, Ozzy Osbourne was posthumously honored with a life.
Okay, we're gonna stop this girl real quick, and we're gonna go back. Let's go back to the back, all the way to the back, to the beginning, because they started like really quick. Okay, so these are the, I guess this is the lifetime achievement award, but they're missing a word here. The lie time. Look at that. It says LIE, which is like a lie time achievement. So I believe this is the Jack here. This is Kelly. Look at her arms. What happened to her arms? Are these vampires are like really like being drained out of life? Like, they look very disturbing. Like, I'm gonna push it forward a little bit, but this person that did this video, he's really very sensitive. He's like, oh, let's pay attention to the tribute and not about how they look and and stuff. We're gonna look at the comments because we're gonna put them on blast. Okay, because he tried to be slick with me, but he doesn't know who's Rick is. So let's go ahead and watch
Osbourne's
this.
family took the stage, and
This
the
is the
emotion
family.
hit instantly.
Look at this. Look at this. What's going on here? And what's going on here? What is this? Who is this? Is this Kelly or this is a double? Is that a body double? Hollywood sucked the life out of them. Yeah, but ain't they living in UK? Did they move to the UK? I know they moved back to the UK because they really didn't like Trump, so they decided to move back to the UK to get away from Trump. I wonder why. I wonder why. Because the Trump knows the truth. These people are fucking weird as fuck. But that's Kelly. I thought that was, first of all, look at the shoulders. Look at the look at the bones. You can see the bones. Like it doesn't look like this face does not look healthy. Okay, this face looks like it needs therapy. It needs a meal. Okay, and you can be physical and skinny, and that's all good. But girl, you're not looking good. Something is not right. I read people. I'm a psychic, so it's like just by looking at it, I could tell something's not right. And I know her father, like Sharon's husband and her father, Kelly. But they look really bad. Okay, let's continue.
At the Brit Awards, Ozzy Osbourne was posthumously honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award. His wife Sharon Osbourne and daughter Kelly Osbourne accepted the award on his behalf. Sharon told the audience she wished Ozzy were there himself. She described him as humble, driven, and...
Who is this? Look at that face. Is that Kelly? I am so like I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Yeah, yeah. Because she's been brainwashed by the ones to be, okay? Like this goes within the 1%, okay? If they don't like something, they don't want the change, they want, to the world have to be in chaos because they make money off of chaos. They don't make money with peace. And it's just, it goes against the grain. And that's what Trump is doing, is going against the grain. He's like, fuck it. This is my last term as president. They think I'm going to go for a third. I don't think so. He's going to do everything he's going to do now in his last term. He has 3 years to get this shit done, and less than 3 years. And he's working full pace. Okay? So let the man do his thing, and we're going to wreak the havoc. Like like we're gonna be really good in the future. And we're talking about like after Trump passes away and everything, and people are gonna be in mourning. The world is gonna be in mourning. Look, I'm doing my thing. I'm telling you what the future is gonna be. Like they're gonna have Trump like body at resting in Washington for sure. He will be given a full like the whole military deal with when it comes to his death. It's going to be so grand and so big. And I see it. And it's going to be a sad day. A lot of people are going to be very, very sad. The world is going to be sad. Like the world is going to cry because like they're going to mourn Trump and memorialize Trump like as a god, because he really helped and tried to do as much as he could while he was still alive. They're gonna love him. That's why I named the show yesterday. They're gonna love him for life. Like he's going on Mount Rushmore. He is going on a coin to in currency. He is going to be he's going to be really missed, and the fact that they're building his library in Miami, the city I was born, that's pretty cool. And the fact I know exactly where the spot that they're going to build the library, because it's a parking lot. I used to park in that parking lot to go to the Miami Heat games. And sometimes I used to park in that parking lot when I used to go to Bayside, that's across the street. So, like, I'm going to go back to my stopping grounds. Maybe this year. I don't know when exactly this year. It all depends on when I do the surgery, if and when. Because if I could hold off a bit, I may want to do that and deal with this leg in the wintertime than the summer. Because I really would like to enjoy the summer. I would be so bummed if I didn't enjoy the summer. But this right here, these two right here, something's just not right. Like it's just giving me Beetlejuice. Maybe part 3, Beetlejuice. Oh man, what happened? And if this is Ozempic, I'm telling you right now, Ozempic ain't working for me.
Proudly working class. Kelly stood beside her, visibly emotional, as the crowd listened. Ozzy rose from a small neighborhood in Birmingham to become a global rock icon with Black Sabbath. He died last July at age 76, just weeks after a farewell concert in his hometown. Despite decades of global success, Sharon said Ozzy never stopped being proud of his roots. She also thanked his bandmates, his family, and fans who supported him throughout his life. The moment was introduced by Dolly Parton in a pre-recorded message. Then Robbie Williams closed the show with a tribute performance of No More Tears, backed by Ozzy's band members. The audience responded with a standing ovation. With Ozzy gone, but his music still filling arenas, how do you think rock legends should be honored after they're gone?
Yeah, I feel like this channel sucks. It just sucks because let me bring it back to me here. Because it didn't focus on her problems, like with her being so damn skinny, Kelly, and people tend to hide comments from their channels when they get butthurt when you call them out on the truth. It's like the facts are that girl does not look healthy. She doesn't look healthy at all. And a lot of people are calling her out for it. And it's like, listen, it's her life. Whatever she want to do, it's her fucking problem, not mine's. She looks very sick. Like literally, she belongs in Beetlejuice. They need to make up their minds. They think I'm afraid of him. Yeah, they're just brainwashed. That's all they are. Yeah, the Hollywood putting fear into them and talking shit into them, and Shannon is very gullible. That's the problem. And Shannon needs to be the old Shannon from like Black Sabbath. Like that's a different Shannon than what we have today. Now you just have this weak old lady. Yeah, I saw Wicked. Yeah, I mean, she's really Ariana Grande was super skinny in that movie, but the thing with Kelly here is that she's tall, right? Ariana Grande
with a
is
lifetime
very
achievement.
little. Ariana Grande is very little, and Kelly here. Look at that. I don't remember that girl like that. I remember this like chubby little girl, always like unhappy and loud as hell and obnoxious and oversensitive. Yeah. And then you have this. What is this? Like, and then the mom, like, she has way too much lip filler. Let me make it bigger. Like, look at those lips. Oh my god, look at those lips. That's too much lips injection. That's way too much. You need to cut back on the Botox. And this one here, I don't know what I don't know who's this girl. Listen, unless she's working out like a beast. I mean, okay, then I give her that, but I've never seen. Look at the bones. Oh my goodness gracious, girl! You can play a skeleton for Halloween. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go over a liberal hive mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. I'm always saying it's just impossible for us to have a conversation with these leftoids. And I don't say that for purely partisan reasons, because the reality is I'm not really a partisan person. It sounds odd considering I run this channel.
Oh yeah, Ariana Grande is skinny
on
as fuck.
leftoids
She's
all
like
day long. What do you mean you're not a partisan person? Well, I do it because it's necessary, because someone has to do it, because it's just gotten so freaking out of control. These people are so freaking out of control that the work is just simply necessary. I would love nothing more than an environment where we could actually debate on good terms and good faith, where we could engage with the left, meet on the right side of important issues. I don't like saying meet in the middle because that's just milquetoast centrism. No, I mean, I would love an actual productive conversation where when history proves us right, the left could actually admit, you know what, we were wrong, let's pivot. But we don't live in that world. No, we live in freaking Looney Tune world where it's simply impossible to engage with these leftoids. Donald Trump wants to have policy discussion, policy debate, pass a bill. In this case, with the SAVE Act, pass a bill that's supported by over 80% of the American population, and the response is shut down the government. That's how it is on a governmental level. Then, of course, on a more micro level, in terms of everyday interactions between right and left, you're a right-winger espousing your views, and the response isn't, hey, listen, I respect your opinion, let's have a discussion. No, it's, I will kill you. Unironically, how can we have a conversation with these people? And that's not a hyperbolic statement, folks. No, it's yet again another example of exactly that. This, my friends, is why we cannot engage or interact in good faith with these leftoids, because they literally want you dead. I got a wild clip to show you guys. Again, showing the dynamic between left and right. It is impossible to deal with these people. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we got this viral video that's just completely taken over social media. We have a video here where a woman shows up at a Democrat event and she's simply attempting to engage in her right to protest, her First Amendment. She's trying to engage in conversation with people. She attempts to engage with a woman, basically making an argument against medically transitioning children. And look at the response.
What's that? I said hi to her. I'm going to stand next to you. Great. What age do you think the girl's mature enough to have a child? I think that's a decision for herself, her providers, her parents. How did you feel about your body changing as you were going through puberty? Oh, I had lots of different feelings about it. But you know what? I'm just going to go over here and stand. I'm not going to supply to you. I'm just going to stand next to you and counter your hatred. You think it's hatred to tell girls that they could be healthy and whole? So, Kaiser Permanente told my daughter that she should go on puberty blockers and hormones when she was 13. And I told my daughter that's not possible, that you'll never become a man. And she grew up to be a healthy whole woman. She's 20 years old now. Do you know any transgender children? I do. Yeah? Do you have a transgender child? I do. And how did they know they were transgender? Because that's something a person knows inside them. Yeah, at what age did you know that you were a cis woman? At what age? It's something I really thought about. Oh, and why did your child think they're transgender? Maybe I'm not going to answer your questions anymore. I'm just going to stand here silently next to you, okay? Oh, sure. Does your child go to a public school in California? Did they learn there could be 13 gender identities? A surgeon may cost a girl top surgery. Kaiser Permanente charges only $100 copay, and the surgeon makes $25,000. I was approved for a phalloplasty with 2 appointments over Zoom. My doctor told me I could have a fake penis that would allow me to either pee standing up or to have penetrative sex, but not both. Do you think your transgender child might one day have top surgery and a phalloplasty? Is that something you would allow them to have? You know, they make a phalloplasty out of the skin tissue on your thigh or your forearm. It's like a skin sausage. It's a fake penis. $130,000. I'm gonna hunt you down and... Wait, you can't say that. You can't tell somebody you're gonna kill them.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. Hey, here's my opinion. I don't agree with this transgenderism stuff. I believe there's a perverse medical industry incentive, and the response is, I'm going to hunt you down and kill you. Yeah, this is the compassionate left. They've lost the freaking plot, folks. These people, at this point, I'm starting to believe are just irredeemable, and clearly they're irredeemably bad. This is irredeemable evil is what it is. And, you know, I have one policy with evil. I think it needs to be clearly identified. I think it needs to be called out, and a true effort needs to be put in place to achieve accountability. And well, thankfully the internet did its thing, and I guess we're on that path. It appears the lady in the video has been identified. Her online profile has now been released. Meet Madeline Mann. She is the administrative director of clinical and translational science training at UCSF. That's the University of California, San Francisco. And you know, maybe 10 years ago that would have been shocking. Nowadays it's just par for the course. And it really again speaks to the entire issue here. These are the people in charge of your children's education. If you don't believe in child mutilation, administrative directors at major universities will call for you to be hunted down and killed. Are students and faculty at UCSF supposed to feel safe expressing their worldviews when you have faculty members who threaten to kill, hunt down, murder people just because they don't share her views? Frankly, this woman should be fired and arrested immediately. And please, leftoids, don't cry cancel culture on me again. This is not cancel culture. There's a clear distinction between when you lot are calling for the cancellation of people and when we do it. That was a crime caught on tape. Somebody dumb enough, frankly, to issue a terroristic threat while being video recorded. And yeah, newsflash to leftoids, you don't have the right to issue death threats in response to people's protected free speech. That is a threat of terrorism, a threat of bodily harm. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say it's impossible to deal with these people. It's impossible to have a conversation with the left. It's impossible to rationalize with these people because they are irrational. They've lost it. It's crazy. These freaking leftist ideologues, these zealots, these radicalized individuals, time and time again, they show how their first reaction in so many cases appears to be instantly jumping to violence and death threats. It's insane. You have a woman who is simply expressing her opinion, and look, you may disagree with it. You may think that her opinion is controversial or even harmful, but the idea that your response would be, I'm going to hunt you down and kill you, that's the type of stuff that tears a society apart. But honestly, what's most frustrating about this video is that what the woman is saying is not crazy. It's not an extreme viewpoint. In fact, she's right. It's a rational viewpoint. And most of this transing kids cult BS has been thoroughly debunked. Transitioning minors and transitioning even adults is not healthcare. It's not saving lives. It's a medical industry that seems to be preying on confused young children. And in many cases, preying on children with autism or kids with psychological issues or psychological disorders, not to mention the element of social contagion, how it's become trendy for people to identify as trans. And while the data is unmistakable, it's ruining people's lives. You're talking about surgeries that are final. You can't go back after cutting your freaking penis off. People are being castrated, becoming infertile. You have men growing breasts and trying to breastfeed babies. It's absolutely crazy. It's out of the realm of common sense. What this woman is saying is not insane. It's a rational viewpoint. And the response is not debate from these leftoids who support it. It's, I'm going to kill you. If anything, that's more proof that it's a cult. It's an ideology. There's no logic here. And I think it speaks to the culture of the left in general. This is who they have become. Look at TikTok. Look at left-wing discourse across left left-wing social media. It's nothing but constant death threats. We've had multiple assassination attempts and even successful assassinations. Charlie Kirk was murdered by a psychotic leftoid not so long ago. And really, even if you take it on a fundamental level, just look at the way the left acts on social media. Look at their habits. Look at the 4 years of Joe Biden's censorship. Look at Reddit. It's a left-wing swamp. Anybody that they disagree with gets instantly nuked, banned, deplatformed, muted off of social media. That's essentially like killing someone. It's like deleting somebody's online presence. I don't mean it's literally as bad as killing someone, obviously. I don't want my argument to be mistaken, but it's essentially the killing of their voice. It's proof that they want to destroy you. They want to eliminate you. It's not about debate with these people. It's about ideological enforcement. That is the left-wing perspective. It's fascistic and intolerant to its core. Essentially, they're exactly what they pretend you are. And here's yet again another example. The radical, extreme, far left on display. And it's not just random, freaking neckbeards on Reddit. It's not just random psychologically deranged freaking septum ring green-haired weirdos recording TikTok videos in their cars. No, it appears it's also top administrators in higher education. Oh, and let's not forget, what's that guy's name? What was it? Jay Jones in Virginia? Yeah, it's also Democrat attorney generals. These people have lost it. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, we're going to go right to the next one, and that's Tyson De La Cruz.
Authorities have arrested a so-called chaplain who they say was selling counterfeit badges and shirts with the Department of Homeland Security logo.
America, a chaplain in Florida just got busted for selling fake Homeland Security badges to immigrants for $450, promising them immunity from ICE.
The FBI is investigating a deadly shooting at a bar in Austin, Texas over the weekend. He was spotted wearing a sweatshirt reading, quote unquote, property of Allah.
Biden's open border turned America into a hunting ground. And right now, thousands of Americans are stranded in the Middle East because Iran's strikes just shut down airports across the regions.
When there's a war breaking out like this, where the United States may be going against a country like Iran, that you could have either sleeper cells or lone wolves acting.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, just confirmed on camera, which we've covered a lot on this channel, that Iranian sleeper cells are here and they are a real threat inside of America. Let me connect the dots here. First, let me break down this Florida operation, because this was not about just fake badges. It was about creating infrastructure to people and showing them how to avoid immigration enforcement.
According to authorities, the chaplain organization is illegally using the official seal of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. This Instagram video shows Mario Cesar dos Santos, who's now under arrest and facing deportation. Federal prosecutors say Dos Santos held chaplain training seminars like this one throughout Central Florida.
So Mario Cesar dos Santos, this quote-unquote chaplain, was running seminars across Central Florida, predominantly for Brazilian immigrants and foreign nationals. Pay $400 to $450, get yourself a chaplain certification, and walk around what looks like an official DHS credentials.
Investigators say attendees were given these official-looking ID cards with DHS and FEMA logos. Attendees could also purchase gold badges, polo shirts, and bumper stickers with counterfeit seals.
Check out the quote-unquote merchandise table in this video. They're not just making fake IDs in a basement. They're running a whole store with badges, shirts, bumper stickers, with all counterfeit DHS seals.
Dos Santos allegedly told attendees the merch would give them immunity from immigration enforcement and keep them safe from deportation. A SEMA volunteer reportedly told an undercover investigator her SEMA badge helped her get through an airport security with no issues.
Immunity from immigration enforcement. And it worked, at least getting them through airports. One volunteer told an undercover agent her badge got her through airport security with no issues, and that having her SEMA shirt inside her suitcase made the difference when TSA scanned it. So we have foreign nationals buying fake federal credentials that are getting them past airport security. Think about what this means. If somebody with a fake badge can just waltz through TSA, What else can they do? Who else are buying
Right.
these? Let me show you why this matters right now. Because while Dos Santos was selling fake badges in Florida, an Iranian-linked individual shot up an Austin bar over the weekend.
DHS officials say that he first came to the U.S. on a tourist visa, and then in 2006, he became a naturalized citizen through marriage.
So the Austin shooter came
Marriage.
on a tourist visa, then became a citizen through marriage. That is obviously the legal pathway. But check out what he's wearing when he opened fire.
He was spotted wearing a sweatshirt reading, quote unquote, property of Allah, and a shirt featuring the flag emblem of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Also, a Quran was also found in his vehicle.
Property of Allah sweatshirt, Iranian flag shirt, the Quran found in his vehicle. And when the
Sounds like
FBI
a
started
false flag to
investigating,
me.
guess what they're calling this?
The FBI is investigating a deadly shooting at a bar in Austin, Texas over the weekend as a possible terrorist attack. 2 people were killed there, 14 others were wounded.
Possible terrorist attack. 2 dead, 14 wounded. And Governor Abbott, he's not slicing up any words.
It calls into question a lot of people like that who are here in the United States, who came from other countries, that the United States has to do a far better job in trying to vet and evaluate.
A lot of people like that who are here now. Abbott is not talking about one guy. He's talking about an entire network. And when the reporters asked Pete Hegseth about this directly, watch and listen to his response.
Of course, we're paying attention to any potentialities there. This is a former regime, that seeks to export that ideology and try to sow terror. We're ready for that.
Confirming that Iran has been sending people here to commit terrorism. And here's what not a lot of people are saying. How many of them bought fake badges, fake IDs to blend in? Now, let me show you the scope of this problem, because the fake badge scam and the Austin shooting are not isolated. They are symptoms of a massive vetting failure.
Man, from February 2021 to November 2024, more than 1,700 Iranian nationals crossed the southern border.
Well, listen, the Trump administration and others have done a very good job of doing their best to try to document all of these people who have been crossing the border. There were known terrorists that Joe Biden let into the country. There were known murderers, rapists, and other criminals that Joe Biden allowed into the country. And when they got into the country, they were allowed to disperse across the entire United States of America.
1,700 Iranian nationals crossed the southern border from February 2021 to November 2024. That is obviously during the Biden administration. And that, my friends, is the ones that we caught and documented. How many more came through with fake credentials? How many bought fake badges, fake IDs, everything? For 4 years under the Biden administration, the border was wide open. Vetting was practically non-existent, and people like the Austin shooter just perused right on in. Now, here's where all this comes together, because while Iranian sleeper cells are operating inside America, Iran just launched strikes that are trapping Americans overseas. According to news outlets, thousands of Americans are stranded in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, all with suspended flights. Dubai International, one of the busiest airports in the world, came to an absolute standstill.
Shekinah Lee was in Dubai celebrating her boyfriend's 27th birthday with friends. Then the alerts hit and everything changed.
Everyone's phone in the hotel was going off, and that's when they told us, like, missiles are coming your way.
That's what Americans in Dubai heard over the phones. And here's what connects this to the Austin shooting and the fake badge scheme. Obviously, you guys already know the situation. Iran is at war with us. They're launching missiles that trap Americans overseas. They have sleeper cells in America. They're waking them up. They're shooting up bars in Texas. And Biden's open border let them waltz right in unvetted. This is why we need border security. Now, I talked to several friends that live in Dubai, and they said that they are safe and sound. A lot of it is just stuff getting shot out of the air. But thousands of flights are canceled, and the numbers are increasing because when a terrorist regime operates without consequences for 47 years, eventually they feel entitled to attack. America, a Florida chaplain sold fake DHS badges to immigrants, promising immunity from ICE. Those badges got people through airport security. Meanwhile, a potential Iranian sleeper cell who became a citizen through marriage walked into an Austin bar wearing a property of Allah shirt and shot 16 people. Governor Abbott is warning that Iranian sleeper cells are already here. Pete Hegseth confirmed we're paying attention to the threat. And right now, thousands of Americans are stranded in the Middle East because Iran just launched strikes that shut down airports. And here's what connects it all. Biden's open border policy let 1,700 plus Iranians just walk across the border. Non-existent vetting let terrorists blend in with legitimate immigrants. And operations like DeSantos' fake badge scam created an infrastructure for people to avoid detection. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you guys for a great upload there. Fucking illegals. They just need to go back home. That's it. Go back to your country. Why is it so? Why do you not want to go back? All right? You love your country so much. Go back to your country. All right, here we go. A little Benny Johnson. Give me 1 second to set it up. Damn shit. The hell's going on here? Oh no! What the hell?
Alex, welcome back to the program. I wanted to talk with you about Epstein and Bill Clinton, but since this war with Iran seems to be popping off in just a moment, I'd love to get your take on it. What does it mean for where the country is headed? Clearly, the American First Movement doesn't want more quagmires and more forever wars.
Well, if you remember 2 weeks ago, Trump started evacuating people out of different embassies over the Middle East and was looking like they were going to strike them. But now we know that was to get intelligence to see where the Iranians sent weapons. It was to pick up signals intelligence, probably. This time it looks like they are getting ready to hit because the negotiations have fallen through and Iran is refusing to give up what the West says is its nuclear program. But even people like the founder of Blackwater, who's really smart, Eric Prince, has said he's not a fan of the mullahs, but regime changes is certain, and this could really cause some major problems. But regardless, I'm no fan of the mullahs myself, and so I would like to see them remove that. It is a dictatorship over their people. They're very unpopular. But China has shipped a lot of anti-ship missiles that our experts believe will be able to get through to the aircraft carriers. The question is, can the Iranians forward deploy them enough to get the Gerald R. Ford in the Mediterranean? But the other aircraft carrier is over by Iran and can be hit. And so if Iran does hit the aircraft carrier, we'll go to full war with Iran. And that could potentially lead to World War III because it has a defense deal with China, North Korea, and Russia. So that's really some of the major dangers here. But as you said, the massing of forces there is much bigger than what we saw last year during the little 7-8 day operations we saw between Iran and Israel. So this is a very, very dangerous moment in history. And from all of my sources, it's really up to Trump. Up until the last minute, he could decide to give the order or not give the order. If you remember, we were told 5 or 6 times that we were going to go into Venezuela and that tomorrow would be the day. And that kind of got them to where they were complacent. And then finally, when it did happen, we caught them with their pants down. And of course, U.S. military, regardless of what you thought of that, did an excellent, really almost perfect job. And so that's what we're looking at right here. This is a big deal.
I'm very sorry for the side quest question, Alex, but it's something that I've dreamed about asking you. What is a discombobulator?
I don't know the specific secret weapon system Trump's talking about. I know that they have a lot of exotic weapons. I could go through some of the theoretical stuff and what we know has been developed over the decades. The information I have on those weapon systems is old, so you can imagine they're much more advanced. But they have kind of a Glock system that's associated with manipulating the time-space field between dimensions. That going back to the first experiments with it with the Germans and then the U.S., that everybody around it really gets sick. It's like the Havana syndrome on steroids. Then there are classic type high-powered sonic weapons that can also make people very, very nauseous. But when you hear the term discombobulate, that means almost like reality's not there. And so this is real sci-fi weaponry. But we're told hydrogen bombs is the most advanced thing, but those were around in the 50s. Theoretically, in the 1890s, Max Planck created the theoretical equations for atomic bombs and then hydrogen bombs. And so the technologies are 30 to 50 years, depending on what group of them advanced. And obviously, it's very secretive. They had, in the early 70s, the B-2 bomber deployed. They didn't declassify it partially until the late 80s. And that, I'm told, is about 5 generations back from what the U.S. military actually has.
Many people have wondered whether the UFO files are kept secret because the UFO technology is simply military technology that's being tested on our people or domestically, and that the federal government has the ability to manipulate time and space. And I say that, Alex, because they straight up, and that's not what this interview is about, but I hope you don't mind this little side quest here. That, they said that in this astonishing document. Alex, could you grab it? The principal who's in charge of science and technology for the administration, Dr. Alex Krasios is his name. Sounds like straight out Central Casting. He says, no, we have the ability to manipulate time and space with our military tech. What does that mean, Alex? I mean, you just talked about the discombobulator changing reality. We heard from the Venezuelan security guards that they were incapable of even standing when hit with this thing, vomiting blood out of their mouths, blood out of their ears and nose. What I mean, did we use some space age shit on these guys?
Well, there are all sorts of systems. I mean, there are particle beams that you can just hit a building with and it just basically disintegrates. There are, and these are just things we know theoretically that they did develop, and then the rest is classified. So it just goes on and on. And then there's so many civilian uses for these things. I mean, we've had free energy for at least 30 years. It's seen as a disruptive technology, so it's been suppressed. And with Trump, you see the beginning of the rolling out of this, which is great to secure American dominance, but also great for the economy. With all this debt and the rest of it, new innovations being rolled out like this aren't going to be disruptive. It's what's going to save us if it can be deployed in a peaceful way. I mean, imagine what free energy will do. But you see Trump killing the carbon taxes, the Paris Accord, that Lord Monckton's analysis, and I've seen other analyses that are similar, would kill about 2 billion people over a decade if they cut basically half the energy in the food. And that was the plan of the Great Reset. So Trump killing that alone, the globalists weren't just going to give us the free energy. They weren't just going to block that. They were going to take away the old system as well. And so Trump is keeping the old system in place as a bridge to the new. Elon Musk has talked about that. And so this is a great thing President Trump's done. In fact, that's why I'm not black-pilled. I mean, I wish they'd do more on Epstein. I wish they'd do more on arrest, more on indictments of the bad guys. But at the end of the day, the globalists are being made irrelevant. We just had the head CEO of the World Economic Forum in the email saying, yes, we're setting up an alternate world government through the Trilateral Commission that Epstein was on, and we're going to transfer the UN power over to us. That was in 2017-18. And then 3 years ago, the UN made the World Economic Forum co-equal for global governance. So I mean, that whole system is being exposed. It's being discredited. The crown jewel of it, the carbon tax and the social credit score that would implement that and track everything we do, that is gone basically. The UN's plan to, quote, cut half the food production. Remember a couple of years ago, John Kerry, we got to get rid of half the farms or people will starve. True oxymoronic stuff here. This is feudalism. This is serfdom. And so all of that, the old system is being shut down. The predatory Great Reset, collapsed civilization, post-industrial world, and Trump's making real moves to bring us into the George Jetson world that's right under our noses.
It's true. My wife's grandmother is visiting us. She's 95 years old, and I have a Tesla, and I love it. And it's a self-driving Tesla. And she sat in it and she's like, "This is the Jetsons." That's what she said. You know, she's never been in one of these things, and we just like self-drove, you know, and we went down the street, got ice cream, you know, and the car drives itself. And she's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm living to see this. It's the Jetsons. That's what she said.
And all of those technologies aren't evil in and of themselves. It's how they're deployed.
Yeah.
And Musk is saying, have more children and have all this empower us and use these, you know, autonomous systems to go out and build our space bases and build our colonies so that humans can then go inhabit them and, you know, use AI, you know, assembling whole fleets and systems out of the asteroid belt to then go terraform Mars quicker. This is really exponential. If it's deployed for humans, it's unlimited. But if it's deployed from a globalist depopulation bent, that the future is not human, that the WEF says, then it is meant to replace us, and it is the Antichrist. So it's a tool, and it really depends on what spirit is in the machine, one of God and the Holy Spirit and pro-human systems, or one of replacing humans.
All right, let's keep it moving to the last video of the night. Last video is reserved for Tyson De La Cruz.
18-wheeler going the wrong way down southbound 61.
America, that semi-truck driving the wrong way on a Missouri highway for miles was operated by a driver with a Minnesota-issued commercial driver's license.
The driver was unable to complete the English proficiency test.
They say he couldn't comprehend road signs.
This is a systematic failure enabled by Timmy Tampon Walsh's Minnesota and Joe Biden's refusal to secure the border.
All commercial driver's license exams will now be English only. He said for far too long, problems in the trucking industry were allowed to, quote, rise.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. We've been covering this semi-truck situation and CDLs for months. This is a national security risk, plain and simple, for American families. First, let me walk you through exactly what happened on Highway 61 in Lincoln County, Missouri, because the details reveal a system that was completely broken.
A driver called 911 while recording a semi traveling north in the southbound lanes of Highway 61 near Troy, Missouri. Sergeant Dallas Thompson is with the Missouri State Highway Patrol.
You know, was glad that someone saw this yesterday and called it in to try to get resources there to get the vehicle stopped.
The truck eventually crossed over the median and started driving in the right direction without anyone getting hurt.
When I saw this footage, this is absolutely insane. This driver drove miles in the wrong direction with cars passing him at highway speeds. One mistake, one moment of hesitation from any of those drivers, and we're talking about massive casualties. But somehow, by the grace of God, nobody died. And the driver is, drumroll, Abyss Araban Ali. You guys guessed it, a Somali national with a Minnesota-issued CDL.
During that test, the trooper noticed that he wasn't able to read and comprehend the road signs. At the completion of that inspection, the driver was placed out of service.
This Somali truck pirate was unable to read and comprehend road signs. Guys, think about what this means. This man looked at a road sign and that said, "Do not enter." He couldn't read it. He couldn't understand it. And he saw a sign that said "wrong way." And he kept driving for miles and miles with an 80,000-pound semi that could have flattened a minivan in seconds. And here's the kicker. His CDL, it was valid. Minnesota's Department of Public Safety issued this license to a man who failed the most basic requirement for commercial truck driving, the ability to read English road signs. What is going on here? The courier company, Cargo Transportation LLC, is registered to an apartment in Hopkins, Minnesota, not a business address, not a fleet headquarters, an apartment, you guys. And this company reported driving over 80,000 miles in 2024 with 2 drivers in its fleet. How does a legitimate trucking operation run out of an apartment? Let me show you what the mainstream media isn't covering. Minnesota has been issuing CDLs to foreign nationals who shouldn't have qualified under federal law, and it's been happening for years.
Illinois, one of a number of states seeing that pause on non-domicile CDLs. Those are the commercial driver's licenses for visa holders. But that's not the only program under scrutiny. There are also a number of CDL training providers around the area who are at jeopardy of losing their certification.
Non-domicile CDLs are commercial licenses issued to people on visas who aren't permitted residents. These were supposed to have strict, very strict English proficiency requirements under federal law. But in Minnesota, under Timmy Tampon Walsh's leadership, turned those requirements into simple rubber stamps for these Somalia semi-truck pirates. And the federal government just discovered the scale of this particular fraud. 20% of non-domicile CDLs issued in Illinois were illegal. Think about that. 1 in 5 commercial driver's license in just one state were issued to people who did not qualify. How many other Somali semi-truck pirates are on the road right now?
For far too long, problems in the trucking industry were allowed to, quote, rot, pointing to multiple fatal crashes in recent months, including this one, involving semi-truck drivers who were in the country illegally.
They knew drivers couldn't speak English, no hablo inglés, and they were getting CDLs. They knew unqualified foreign nationals were operating commercial vehicles. They knew people were dying in crashes caused by incompetent drivers, and they did absolutely nothing because enforcing the law might look racist or xenophobic. But chat, this is where it gets absolutely worse. The DOT just announced that they've removed 11,500 drivers who failed to meet English proficiency standards just this past year. That is 11,500 unqualified drivers who were on American roads transporting goods, passengers, and in some cases, hazardous material.
The federal government has recently said that 20% of non-domicile CDLs in Illinois were issued illegally. Now, the state refutes those findings, and nothing has been set in stone in terms of any citations.
Illinois is disputing the findings. Of course they are, because admitting that 1 in 5 licenses are fraudulent means admitting that their entire system was designed to fail. And it's not just Illinois. We're talking about Minnesota, California, and multiple other blue states were running the same kind of exact scam. Now, let me show you the federal response, because Sean Duffy is definitely not playing any games with this. He's been talking about this since Trump got back in office. He's shutting down the entire corrupt system that Joey Biden built.
And once you start to pay attention, you see that all of these bad things have been happening. And the consequence of that is that Americans get hurt.
Currently, many other states, California is one, allow drivers to take a license test in other languages, even though they are required to demonstrate English proficiency. Just days ago, the DOT saying more than 500 driving schools nationwide should be shut down today.
English only. No more taking tests in Somalia. No more taking tests in Espanol or Mandarin. If you want to drive a commercial vehicle on American roads, you need to be able to read English road signs. And get this, 500 driving schools are being shut down because they fail to meet basic training standards. It's not just a few schools or a few bad apples here. That is a systematic fraud operation spanning the entire country here. And here's what connects it all. These fraudulent CDL schools were concentrated in states with, you guessed it, sanctuary city policies and laxed immigration enforcement. Minnesota under Timmy Tampon Walsh, Illinois under Big Bop J.B. Pritzker, California under Gavin Newsom. They created a pipeline where illegal immigrants and unqualified visa holders could get commercial licenses with minimal scrutiny.
The Illinois Trucking Association says agriculture and the Metro East rely heavily on non-domicile CDLs. But Illinois and other states have put a pause on new licenses amidst audits.
Hopefully the Illinois Secretary of State can get the things that they need to get fixed with the feds.
The trucking industry is crying about losing drivers, but you know what they're not talking about? The fact that they were exploiting a corrupt system to hire cheap foreign labor instead of training American workers. They didn't care if the driver couldn't read English road signs. They cared about profit margins. And this brings us to the real pattern here. Progressive states create loopholes that benefit businesses exploiting foreign labor, ignore safety requirements that protect American families, then claim all of a sudden claim that enforcement is racist when people start dying. This chat is the same playbook they used with sanctuary cities protecting criminal illegal immigrants. This is the same playbook they used for daycare Somalia fraud networks exposed in Minnesota. Same playbook for the Medicare scams run by foreign nationals.
Holy
shit.
What the my God.
9 people injured, and this is just one incident, as you know. A semi-truck plowed through multiple vehicles and stopped at a red light. The driver is described as a 21-year-old male whose name and immigration status are being withheld. I wonder why. You know what that means? If he was a legal American citizen, they'd plaster his name everywhere. But they're hiding his identity because it would expose the same pattern that we saw with that Somalia semi-truck driver driving the wrong way in Missouri. And here's what nobody's asking. Where did the driver get his CDL? What state issued a commercial license to somebody who couldn't stop at a red light? How many more of these drivers are on the road right now transporting goods through your neighborhood, my neighborhood?
Here in Connecticut.
This kind of thing could happen anywhere. And as an example of that, I'm standing along Highway 4064 where I previously reported on a wrong way near miss incident.
Warning that the wrong way Missouri incident was not a fluke. It was a preview of what's coming if we don't fix this immediately. And the reason it can happen anywhere is because of Biden's open border policy. It flooded the commercial trucking industry with unqualified foreign nationals who got licenses through fraudulent state programs. If you've been here a while, we've been covering this for months because this is a national security risk for families. Every time you're driving on the highway and you pass an 18-wheeler, you got to ask yourself, do you trust the person that's behind the wheel? Do you trust that they can read road signs and understand traffic laws? And that has been properly trained. Under Biden's watch, that trust has been absolutely betrayed by states like Minnesota that prioritized political correctness over public safety. You never know what's happening behind the wheel. Now, let me show you the root cause of all of this. Because Biden created this crisis with his open border policy, then he had the absolute audacity to claim credit for securing the border. This is wild.
The day I left office, border crossing into the United States were lower than the day that I entered that office inherited from Trump.
Did you hear that? Complete silence. Even a crowd of Democrats knows that this is total BS. Biden's own supporters won't clap for his border claims because they know he opened the floodgates and let millions and millions of unvetted foreign nationals into America. And those foreign nationals, if they weren't criminals, needed jobs. So Democrat-run states like Minnesota created programs to fast-track CDLs without proper English proficiency tests. Trucking companies that wanted cheap, exploitable labor, they got it. Training schools that prioritized profit over safety and just rubber-stamped unqualified drivers, and American families on the highways became collateral damage. The wrong way Somali pirate semi-truck driver driving in Missouri is a direct result of Biden's open border policy enabling state-level fraud. That California crash with 9 injuries, direct result of refusing to enforce English proficiency standards. The 11,500 drivers Duffy just removed from the roads, direct result of 4 years of deliberate negligence. America, here's what mainstream media won't tell you. Sean Duffy's English-only CDL requirements, it's not racist. It's common sense. A Somali pirate, Somali driver with a Minnesota CDL drove the wrong way for miles because he couldn't read an English road sign labeled wrong way. A 20-year-old in California plowed through stopped cars. 500 fraudulent driving schools across America were certifying unqualified drivers. 20% of Illinois CDLs were issued illegally. It's about competence. If you cannot read English road signs, you should not be driving a semi-truck through American neighborhoods.
Or any car.
Plain and simple.
Fuck
Duffy
that.
shutting down 500
Or
schools
any
and
car.
removing 11,000
You can't read the
unqualified
signs,
drivers
you cannot drive.
because Joey Biden's policies turned our
That should be the
highways
slogan.
into
Can't read
demolition
sign.
derbies. Let me
Ooh,
know
that
what
was
you
a
think
bad
about
death.
this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would.
Alright.
Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Gerald Keys, good friend of the show. I tell you, if you can't read the signs, you can't drive. I don't understand how insurance companies are actually insuring these people to drive on the roads like this. That's another question. Are the insurance companies are going to be paying for these accidents, knowing that they have an illegal driving? Their premiums are going to be going up, so that means that's why products keep going up in price, because it has to offset with these stupid accidents that cause the public to be taxed more. Well, not even taxed, but your products are more expensive and taxed more because your products are more expensive. Oh, it's that time of the night where I say it's time to say goodnight. But it was a good show. It was nice. It was fun. And I'll do it all over again tomorrow for day 4. So far, I am not liking the new upgraded StreamYard at all. It's the same as the lower plan. So I'm going to be dropping back down to the lower plan. I'm going to call them up and just explain to them the reasons and the problem with the audio, because it did it again tonight. And it's something on their end with the damn audio. But I want to wish everyone a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. I'll be back here again tomorrow night, 7:30ish. We'll see. We'll see, because it's like at that time I'm either setting up the show. So it takes me about an hour to set up a show, like beforehand and before the clock, before starting the show. So it's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes just to get the show running. So put in a lot of work. It's all for fun and for us to watch and more input. All right, guys. Good night.